in-room volume up. There we go. Thank you.
There it is.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To produce it, that's good.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and I just want to remind everybody that this meeting is being broadcast live by Chelmsford Telemedia and videotaped for later rebroadcast. If anybody else here is recording audio, or video recording this meeting, please let me know at this time. Thank you. Tonight we're pleased to have representatives from 2 local businesses at our meeting to recognize them for being named the best places to work in Massachusetts. So I'll turn it over to the Vice Chair to read certificates of recognition for these 2 companies.
Certificate of recognition is hereby presented to Axis Communications, Inc., 300 Apollo Drive. The Chelmsford Board of Selectmen congratulates Axis Communications for its designation one of the top places to work as recognized by the Boston Globe in its annual Top Places to Work ranking of the most admired workplaces in Massachusetts. Axis Communications is a market leader in network video and employs over 1,600 people worldwide. The town of Chelmsford is proud to have Axis Communications, Inc. as part of its business community. Awarded this 15th day of December 2014, signed Honorina Maloney, Town Clerk, Pat Wojcik, Janet Askenberg, Bob Joyce, Matt Hansen, and George Dixon, Chelmsford Board of Selectmen.
And I know we have several people here from Axis. And if you'd like to say a few words,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
you can tell us how you achieved this.
Aaron doesn't charge you for that wine, so don't do that.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's go right here.
Out to the podium.
Yep.
So I'm Ted Wilkinson, Business Area Manager with Axis Communications.
I'm Rachel O'Neill, Human Resource Manager.
So just wanted to say that we are, for those of you who don't know Axis Communications, we're a manufacturer of surveillance cameras in its simplest form. We're a worldwide, or the worldwide leader in surveillance cameras. Our headquarters is in Sweden, but our North America headquarters is based here in Chelmsford. And we've been here for over 10 or 12 years and found it to be an extremely good place for us to have our headquarters run the business. And in fact, we do about half of our worldwide business from here. And we've been growing tremendously over the past years, and as we've grown, we've changed space or added more space or rented new offices, and we've chosen to stay in Chelmsford every time we do that.
Well, thank you.
Much appreciated.
For having us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Certificate of recognition is hereby presented to Kronos Incorporated, 297 Bill Ricker Road. The Chelmsford Board of Selectmen congratulates Kronos Incorporated for its designation as the #1 place to work, as recognized by the Boston Globe in its annual Top Places to Work, ranking one of the most admired workplaces in Massachusetts. Kronos employs approximately 1,200 people in Massachusetts and more than 4,000 worldwide. The town of Chelmsford is proud to have Kronos Incorporated as part of its business community. Awarded this 15th day of December 2014, signed Honorina Maloney, Town Clerk, Pat Wojcik, Janet Askenberg, Bob Joyce, Matt Hansen, and George Dixon, Chelmsford Board of Selectmen.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
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 So I'm Dominic Locapo. I'm a senior manager on the corporate communications team at Kronos. And this is my colleague.
And I'm Alexandra Freeman. I'm a human resources specialist.
So I'm actually also a 1999 graduate of Chelmsford High School. So it's a local boy staying around. So thank everyone. We just want to thank you for this recognition. And, we were thrilled when the Globe named us the top place to work in Massachusetts. 2 years ago, the company, I believe, was 21st, and last year 4th, and this year got the #1 distinction, and it's really no small feat because it's a 37-year-old software company, global software company, billion-dollar software company. So to remain agile and innovative is no small feat, and it's really thanks to a lot of the local talent that we hire from the Merrimack Valley. So just on behalf of the company, I'd like to say thank you for this recognition, and just tell your friends and family that, you know, we're hiring plenty more people to join the 1,200 folks that are here in Massachusetts.
Very good.
Very good.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Our other public service announcement for this evening is I want to remind the residents that the deadline for submission of citizen petition warrant articles for the 2015 spring annual town meeting is Monday, January 5th at 4 p.m. Okay, we're to our open session part of the meeting now. If anybody would like to address the board about any concerns you have, now is your opportunity to do that. Anybody? Okay, very good. We'll move on. Oh, we do have somebody. No, we don't. Okay. Okay, we'll save you a place, John. Okay, committee vacancies.
Committee vacancies as of December 15th, 2014. The 7 North Road Committee, it's a temporary committee which shall evaluate potential uses for the property where the center fire station is located. Committee will be appointed by the Board of Selectmen and will report its findings and recommendations to both the Board of Selectmen and town meeting. The committee will consist of 7 members appointed by the Board of Selectmen. The committee will be expected to hold regular meetings following all open meeting law regulations. At the first scheduled meeting, a chairman, vice chairman, and clerk will be elected. At least one public input session will be conducted. Applications for this committee will be accepted until December 30th, 2014, and the terms for all members will run through December 31st, 2015. We'll have a similar committee with the same responsibilities. It'll be the 101 Mill Road Committee. This is also a temporary committee which shall evaluate potential uses for the property at 101 Mill Road, which was purchased by a town meeting vote on November 17th, 2014. Again, the same 7 members. It's appointed by the board, but for this one, at least 2 members will be active town meeting representatives from Precinct 9. Holding regular meetings, and at the first scheduled meeting, chairman, vice chairman, and clerk will be elected, and applications are going to be accepted until December 30th, 2014. Remaining vacancies, there's 1 vacancy on the Civic Committee, 2 vacancies on the Community Preservation Fund Committee, 2 vacancies on the Cultural Council, 1 vacancy on the Energy Conservation Committee, 1 vacancy on the Great Brook Farm Advisory Committee, 1 vacancy on the Historical Commission, 1 vacancy on the Land Management Subcommittee, and 1 vacancy on the Personnel Board. If you're interested in serving on a town board or committee, please fill out the committee application. It's available on the town website, www.townofchelmsford.us.
Question?
Sure.
Paul, the Community Preservation Fund Committee, is that, are those just residents at large?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Okay, we have a couple public hearings that were continued from our last meeting for the National Grid Underground Conduit petition on Littleton Road and a Verizon joint poll petition on Littleton Road. I wonder if you could give us an update on the status of the...
I'm
the
Dave
activity.
Aguirre, I work for National Grid. National Grid is asking for permission to go from a pole out on Littleton Road onto private property. I believe it's going to be for condominiums. So we had a meeting with the abutter, and she'd like to speak.
December 9th, Tuesday, 10:30 a.m., we had a meeting with National Grid and Verizon and the representative from developer Emmanuel. So I suggested how about double pole, and if you go 1 mile from my property, that's, that new gas station called New World Gas Station, Honeydew or Subway. They have 2 double pole. One is on the gas station side. The other is across from the Oak Street on this side where the aggregate industrials. So 2 double pole, one on each side of Oak Street. And also I suggest how about on their own frontage instead of on mine. And I showed you this last time. And there you can see they have 2 frontage. The other one is 3 times wider than the frontage right next to me. Okay? They say maybe too far away, but if you go to Route 110 further toward Westford, there's a new development called Princeton Apartment. Their entranceway from Route 110 is 3 times longer than their entrance from Route 110. If they can do it, why not Emmanuel? They keep on saying, too costly, too costly. Well, I think last time I showed you the last page, in 1986, the assessed value for this property is 1.3 million. And in 1999, down to 166,000. And that's roughly how much they paid. So you have a lot of money to pay, just go through the other frontage instead of neighbor's frontage. You can't say, cost me too much. Who doesn't want to do that? You don't have to pay property tax. I do, and then use somebody else's frontage. And also, and the representative from Emmanuel keep on saying, town engineer even proved, the town engineer, he said 5 times. He said 5 times. So right after meeting, I went to talk to town engineer Steve Yanni at 2 p.m. And then Steve Yanni give me that look, say, Nancy, the pole is on their frontage. Can you see? Is that from their frontage? And then the underground wire goes straight to their property. I say, what? Straight to their property? That's the magic word I want to hear. So I say, can you put it in the writing? And or give me anything can prove what you just told me. Because, okay, so he gave me this page. He said, is that straight from the pole? Straight go to their property? I don't see any twist and turn here. And it's not on my frontage. Why I have to worry? So how can you submit to the town engineer, Steve, one thing, and then later submit something else, and then I measured actually it's 3 feet on my property. I don't like that tactic, okay? And then the other problem is, actually, if you see the number, that's 68 feet from pole 88. And somehow on Verizon plan is 70 feet. You can see it, 70 feet from pole 88. That's obvious 2 feet over my property. And then if you go there to use your tape measurement, it's 3 feet from my property. Oh, did I do something?
No,
that's
you're
him.
okay. No, you're okay. This is town manager.
Okay, so
He's just playing.
anyway, the other problem is, so we said about the easement. As I said, their original plan from Hancock was from here. The electricity line is from here. And then now they want to change from here. The problem is I have the easement for this 90 feet. And I have so many delivery trucks, COSCO, this big truck, it's not small one. Deliver for 3 restaurants. Now it's 1 more, the liquor store. Every single day I count at least the 5 trucks. So the 5 trucks are gonna pass their electric wire every single day. What I try to say is I have a pole right here. My underground wire go this way, okay? Not on my parking lot because they can't afford to have the traffic on and off. And you know what? It only lasted 12 years. Right here. Just because the Route 110's traffic, the vibration broke my wire in year 2000. The building is 1988. So it's not I'm not a professional, but I know I replaced the wire. I even show you it's this thick wire for only 24 units. They have 59 units, at least double the size. First of all, how can you twist and turn this stick out the wire? Impossible. I want to stick to town engineer. The wire goes straight to their property, not from my property and make a turn. And also, I want the Hancock engineer recertify this plan, the new plan they changed, because Emmanuel will not be my neighbor in the future. And I don't want to end up with 59 angry neighbors say my delivery truck broke their electricity wire and I'm gonna lose my easement. That's not fair. Somebody has to be responsible when they. It's not easy. Say I do whatever I want. I change from left to right. There's a consequence. Okay.
All right, let's see what Mr. Aguilar has in response to these questions. I mean, from this email that we had received, I thought these questions had been resolved, but apparently not to Ms. Chen's satisfaction.
National Grid is really only here for the conduit. The pole is mainly for Verizon, but I thought that the situation had been handled, and I thought it was going to be, everybody was going to meet when the crew was going to be. I'm speaking for Verizon. I really shouldn't be speaking for Verizon, but.
Well, I think what she's saying is that if it follows the plan that you show here with the straight line going up into that property, she's okay with that as long as it does not go on her property. She's concerned that you cannot.
It was, from when I saw it, it was going to be going where it is now, pretty much straight onto the property. But nothing is really straight. You hit a boulder, it's going to go one way or another. But it was pretty close when I was there. But I'm not setting the pole either.
Okay.
I'd speak more if it was National Grid setting the pole. I'm not trying to throw Verizon under the bus on it, but we're not setting the pole. So from what I could see, we were going pretty straight into their property.
Okay, we have, this is a public hearing, and I guess we have another person who wants to speak. Doug, did you have on this?
I'd like the applicants to have a chance to speak, then I'll discuss. They haven't had a chance.
Okay, well, yeah, this is a continuation of the public hearing, so they did present it at our last meeting.
Sorry, Madam Chair, you had called, I know you called them both while I was standing here, but do you want the Verizon?
Sure, yeah, why don't we take them both, yeah, rather than go over the same material twice.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And for the record, Joseph Gleason, right-of-way agent for Verizon New England Inc., office located at 900 Chelmsford Street in Lowell. I'm not sure if the email to which you're referring is the one that I sent, but my understanding is the same as National Grid's, as is the representative of the developer, that there was a meeting. I know that our project engineer did go to this meeting, and they discussed with the abutter her concerns. My understanding from my engineer was that after that meeting, all issues were resolved. I can even hear the same thing from the abutter. It sounds like the main concern is encroachment. First of all, the pole is to be placed within the public way. It's not to be placed on her property. The conduit, and I will let the developer speak more to the conduit, because what my engineer is telling me is that all we're doing is we're setting the pole in the location to accommodate the developer. My understanding is the conduit is going to be coming down the west side of the driveway. It's developer placed conduit, it's developer construction, and all we're doing is setting that pole where the developer has asked us to. Now, my understanding from the meeting was that the abutter was given assurances after assurance that there would be no encroachment on her property. The developer had represented to the abutter that they were well aware of where the property boundaries were, and there would be no encroachment. So from our perspective, all we're looking to do is, as I asked when I was last here on the 1st of December, is for permission to construct one utility pole on the west side of that driveway, approximately 472 feet from the Kidder Road intersection. I know that this issue with the National Grid plan versus the Verizon plan has come up about the differences. Again, I'm not trying to play fast and loose here, but as you can see, when our engineer pushes it together, it's 70 feet plus or minus. So there's a little bit of wiggle room involved, and as Mr. Aguirre says, sometimes you have to make a little bit of accommodation depending on the conditions you find in the field. But from Verizon's standpoint, all we're looking to do is place that pole at that location to accommodate the developer. Thank you.
Douglas Hauser from Lampert House on Robin, representing Hillside Gardens, which is the entity that is seeking to locate its Verizon and National Grid easement rights or on its property to develop the condominium units that have been allowed pursuant to a 40B LIP project, meaning partnership with the town, already approved and has been pending from now 5 years. But we have to clear up some misconceptions, because the facts are that the pole is not on Ms. Chen's property. Let's start.
Frontage, I never say property.
I'd ask the chair to at least address the.
Yes, please let the speaker make his statement.
Thank you very much. So the first step is it's not on her property, and in no way, shape, or form will be on her property, number one. Number two, it's in the utilities right-of-way rights, and that's where it can be located. It's doing so. Three, Ms. Chen, as the successor in interest title, does have an easement that was granted by my client's predecessor in title. It is not an exclusive easement. It is the easement to allow for at the end of her building, and if I can head up there, the easement right goes from this corner 90 feet straight up and 50 feet wide, which is the width of this driveway. So it's 50 feet wide from this point, 90 feet, 90 feet. The easement allows Ms. Chen to have her driveway enter out onto that easement. Not exclusively. It's a grant that the owner of this property gave to the owner of this property 30 years ago, per record. Not exclusive. Very important distinction here. So if Ms. Chen had built a driveway that wanted to come out here, and that's a big if, she hasn't done it in 30 years, she could, and will always be able to, come out and join. No problem. We're not stopping that. We're not asking it to be stopped. In fact, we're facilitating it. It's going to be built out with bituminous so she can access it. It has no interference with her property in any way, shape, or form. If she doesn't wish to use that, that's her right. She doesn't have to. But it has nothing, we have rights to put utilities in here. We own this. It's not an easement. We own the property. So you can listen to a lot of chatter, and that's the nicest word I can use to describe what Ms. Chen just said, because there's no facts behind it. And this is 5 years and 3 pieces of litigation later, and we're still here arguing about pure fiction. And it's time that this board put an end to it. And they can do it by voting very quickly, allowing the utility to put the pole where it needs to go. Doesn't interfere with her rights in any way, shape, or form. If she has those rights, they're a matter of record. No one's disputing them. If she wishes for, and her attorney has indicated that in a letter to me today, that they understood how things were going to go and made some requests, which I got today by mail, even though it's right next door to us. We got it 4 days later. And it says, it was agreed to locate the pole on the frontage of 313 Littleton Road. That's her property. Her attorney wrote, agreed. I'm not consenting that it's her property. It's in the front of her property, maybe by a foot, but it's certainly in the utility pole's easement rights, the utility's rights to locate a utility pole. The easement itself is exactly what I described, 90 by 50, straight up, 4,500 square feet, recorded in the Middlesex County Registry of Deeds. The cable does not cross her property in any way, shape, or form. It crosses our property, not hers. Please put an end to this nonsense. I beg of you at this point. We've gone to the appeals court twice, we've won. We've had 2 trials, we've won. We had to bring trespass claims against Ms. Chen and others.
Okay,
We've won.
We don't need to get in the middle of trespass claims or any of that. It seems to me, I don't know how the rest of the board feels, that there's been some other additional activity that we have not heard about. This letter from her attorney, I mean, I haven't seen that. And I don't want to see it right now, Doug. It's not going to, I don't want to see it right now. I mean, the email I had said that, that Ms. Chen would accept the pole and where it was originally located, but now she's telling us that she will not. I don't know how the rest of the board feels. I mean, maybe we should send them back to talk some more about this and try to work it out.
I think it's pretty clear. I have questions, too.
Could I answer what he said?
Sure, but we're not going to get into a debate here.
no, no.
Are there any questions from the board?
I don't think anybody has a question for you right now.
I thought Bob did.
Question for
I
him?
have a question for the engineer.
Brian?
Well, not now. Yes.
I don't know if it's the other drawing, but it seems like there's a pole over here, right on the edge of the driveway.
Paul, why don't you get a Google map? We could see it.
I could do that, I was just gonna, he has to pull the
Yeah,
plan.
right here, this is where 88 is.
How wide is the easement on the street?
That other one shows it like slightly
Is it
over
50
there.
feet?
Why couldn't you conduit from this pole over to this
So
area?
Because there are existing underground utilities already there.
In the easement, the right of way.
You don't put the electric next to the water, next to everything else
Right, where's the water, over here?
on that side. All the other, there's drainage and other areas on that side.
So we can't go this way and then off?
Apparently not. The utility recommends putting the pole exactly where it's indicating and to go up, straight up, on our property for the easement, for the electrical, where it's going. And then the pole, as we said, is being located on their property rights, not Ms. Chen's.
Right.
Shouldn't be that complicated.
No, it isn't.
How wide is the road?
50 feet.
The easement is
The easement matches the dimension
on
of the
each
road.
side, on each side. How much additional feet from the paved
This is showing
area?
this as a flare-out.
No, I mean 110. Yeah.
I have no idea what the.
But
the
I mean, that
distance-
pole must be in the easement, the utility easement anyway, is it?
Absolutely is.
Yeah.
But this doesn't accurately reflect the property line. I want to be clear for the board. Property lines are straight to what Paul had as up there prior.
First one, right.
The very first one is the location, and that's how her easement right is described and defined by our deed. And thank you very much, Mr. Cohen. So it starts here, it's measured 50 feet by 90 feet by 50 feet by 90 to the point of beginning, per record. You'll note, this is not on her property. You'll note, this isn't even being on her property. And you'll note, there's nothing preventing her from using.
Okay, we understand.
Okay. but
Okay.
I just want to make a note that this P88 certainly proportionally isn't like the other one. It's closer to this, right here.
We didn't prep that.
Well, we know that they're not exact. They've told us that before.
National Grid, the electric company, the pole facing the property, the pole to the right, that's an inline pole going up and down Littleton Road, but it also goes to the property to the right of that, and then it goes across the street. So that's a junction pole, and we have wires going in 4 different directions, and it's already a 45-foot pole. So when I first came out there to look at that, to get a plan for the development, I knew I wasn't able to use that pole. And it's probably, I don't know, 20 feet. It's closer than what it is there. We'd be having poles within 30 feet. Technically, it almost. So that's why we went to the other side of the driveway to spread out the poles. It would look like a picket fence, so
Okay.
we tried to put it on the other side of the driveway.
Okay.
As far as the 70 feet and stuff like that, when we first went out there, the driveway wasn't really marked, so we just tried to get that pole as far away from the other pole, being in the public taking, not crossing over anybody's property lines, because we are, we don't want to cross anybody's property line, because we're going to have to move it, and they prove it's on their line, we have to move it. So, not knowing exactly where the driveway was going to be, that's what landed on the discrepancy of the 70 feet, 88 feet. Once they knew they were going to put it on there, they knew exactly where it was going to be, so it ended up being 88 feet. But again, we got the plus and minus.
Right,
So
okay.
those wires were never going to be on anybody else's property except the public taking onto the person's property.
Just to confirm if I could, so the property lines, the driveway, and where the pole intends to go are all staked out now?
It's all, I don't believe the pole is staked out because, you know, is the pole staked out?
How you doing? For the record, Brian Goodrow with Hancock Associates. We're the engineering firm of record and the surveying firm of record. All of the lot corners have iron rods that we set, and I think it's important to note that there's a lot of talk about the exact location and this falling within the not her property. We're going to be issuing a certification and as-built at the end of this project, and all of that's going to be reflected on the as-built plan itself. So it's not like anything can be hidden during this process.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Chen?
Okay, could I have that diagram back? Okay, first of all, I never had a lawsuit with him.
Okay, just address this poll petition, please.
What I try to, whatever they say, they always say my property. I'm not talking about my property. I'm talking about my frontage.
We understand.
And also, Steve, the town engineer, say go straight to their property. I want to, whatever town engineer proved, they have to follow them. Okay, it's not to put it on my frontage and then twist it and turn. You know, they say, and also I'm glad that Bob mentioned, why don't you just double pole here, right? They say too much on here, you can double pole that, and then go through their driveway, right? And they say too costly. So what I want to see is how much more to cost them double pole here and bring it out to here. Okay. Secondly, how much cost them to use the other frontage, which is their own frontage? Because cost me if they put it here and then give me all those troubles. So I want to see, because cost me to file a lawsuit for this matter. So I can adjust whether I might as well use that attorney fee, pay them to compensate the cost part. Because the meeting, the only thing I heard is too costly, too costly, too costly. And it cost me nothing to file the lawsuit.
Okay, well, I mean, just so we're clear here, I mean, nobody is going to go on private property. We're not giving permission, even if we approve this, we're not approving anything to go on private property. So with that, any thoughts?
I think it's fine the way it's presented there, that you're entitled to do it that way. And then with the as-built, they're going to prove that it's not on their own property.
Well, the as-built are done afterwards, George.
I know where they are, but
they're no
it's going to
good
be proof.
right
What
now.
do you mean they're no good?
Well, they should have
not good?
accurate, they should have accurate drawings up here, not wait for the as-bills.
Well, they can't because they're not sure where the pole's going to go. If they could hit something, that's why there's a plus or minus a couple of feet, because if they hit stone or something, they can't go down. They're going to move it over a couple of feet, and, right? I mean, is that the reason it's a plus or minus a couple of feet with the poles? That's why, Bob, in case they hit ledge, stone, whatever, you know?
So you're inclined to approve this as presented, okay? How about- Bob, what are your thoughts?
I'm inclined to refuse it, because I think it would take very little work to bring the utilities through the conduit and bring it over to that left side for a short distance, and then bring it up the left side, the west side of that.
Even if there's already other utilities there that they would have to?
Well, no, there's no utilities there. They're on the right side. They're on the easterly side.
Okay, so
That's
you're
what he
gonna
said.
you're gonna tell them how to.
Well, no, I'm not going to tell them, but these guys are engineers, and they ought to be able
You're
to come up
exactly
with a
right.
better drawing than this.
Okay, but as
And we,
so
as the Board of Selectmen, have the right to refuse it, and
you're
it's
absolutely
been
right.
done.
You're absolutely right.
And let them come back with a better plan.
Okay, Matt, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I think my preference would probably be to see it on the other side of the driveway. I don't know if somebody confirmed whether that can't be done or whether it's just not the preference to do that.
I'm going to have to defer to the developer on that. I'm not entirely sure what's on what side of the driveway there.
There are already, as I said, existing utilities on that side, number one. Number two, we are acting on our property and on the utilities right of way. To be perfectly frank, Bob, you're not justifying a reason other than you might not like it, but the fact is we're acting perfectly legal. So respectfully, I'd ask you to reconsider your concepts on this. Number three, we've explained that there's already other easements, and drainage on that side per the town plans that were approved by the town. So this is just consistent with everything that is a matter of public record. And 4, it's a cleaner stretch straight up. It's the best use, as you heard, the idea of double or triple polling essentially is not what the utility companies want to see. And he's right, you're going to have a picket fence look with all these poles on one side. That separation is important for the utility companies, the performance level that they provide as well. So I respectfully ask you to reconsider your position. I think Mr. Dixon did hit it on the head, and we're just asking to do what's kind of a routine thing here.
If I could, if
Sure.
it's you, Mr. Hausler, or the engineer for Verizon, I'm not sure, on the picture we were just looking at, the pole looks like it's on the frontage of your client, this one, it looks like it's on the frontage of your client's property, Mr. Hausler.
Yes.
On the Verizon plan, it looks like the pole is on the frontage, and I'll use the word frontage, of her property. Does someone know which frontage the pole's on? I understand it's all on the right-of-way. Do you see the distinction there?
I see.
On the other one, I understand if these are straight lines, it looks like the pole is here.
Much further,
on this
yeah.
frontage versus
Yeah.
on her frontage and then straight over.
And to answer your question, and this is why we thought we had the agreement, pursuant to our discussions from Brian R. Sullivan and Carroll, attorney for Ms. Chen, it was agreed to locate the pole on the frontage of 313. So even if we're not directly in front, as you just raised, here, if we're here, the letter by the objecting of the butter's own attorney says it was agreed at the site walk a week ago.
Was the attorney, if I could interject, was the attorney present at that meeting?
Yes, he said, quote, and I joked with him about this beforehand, pursuant to our discussions, quote, in the cold downpour. So he went to it. I didn't have to go to it because our engineer was there with the applicant. It was agreed to locate the pole as near as possible to the water main on the left side of the driveway, away from the frontage of 311 Littleton Road, as set forth in the attached National Grid plan. And it's, again, we're only doing what rights we've always owned. It's our property that we're putting the easement through. Not the easement, but the utilities themselves, as an easement that we grant to the utility companies. And and quite frankly, it prevents problems with having any kind of outages because of that straight run up into the development. That's an important utility issue because they want it to be straight. They don't want bends, they don't want corners, they want that straight run, which is what we're providing. That's the best place in the collective judgment of our engineer, their engineers, and my client, collectively saying we're all operating within the legal parameters.
Go ahead.
Did they look at the other alternative of coming in from the other side?
This is the way the plan's been approved by the town per the ZBA. This is the frontage this is the access, this is the 40B permit that's gone through several court hearings. All the town favorably granted this, by the way. This
Yeah,
was not
but-
a hostile 40B.
Yeah, but you really didn't answer my question.
Sure I
Could
did.
they come in through,
This is the way they have to come in per the plans.
Too costly.
Okay,
To answer the question, Bob,
did he
it's
answer?
per an approved ZBA decision, adopted and Ms. Chen didn't appeal that one.
right, okay.
Thank you.
Just got
Okay,
one other
thank you.
question.
Go ahead.
I just
Matt,
have one
what
other
do you-
question. Miss Chen, during the site walk, did they show you the stake where it's supposed to go in the right of way?
I watch them every day, a few months
Okay,
ago.
the-
right after.
The rest of my question, on your site walk the other day, did you see the location they were proposing to
See,
put the stake in the
thing is,
ground?
If I approve as he said,
Well, you-
No,
No,
I
just
just
answer
want,
the
could you
question.
answer my
Yeah.
question, please?
why I have to go to the town engineer at 2 p.m. on the same day? Am I crazy? I'm not that. I am here to tell you I never agree, and I'm telling you, I never, N-E-V-E-R.
Okay, so,
If you approve that, I'm gonna go to the court tomorrow. Simple like that.
okay, so you haven't agreed,
And
okay.
who said I agree? I'm telling you, I swear to God, I'm not agree.
Okay,
Until I
okay,
die.
thank you.
Until I die.
Thank you. You didn't agree. Matt, do you have any other questions?
No, I think that's,
Mr. Gleason?
I told him, made a mistake.
Okay, and what's your
Is there a
feeling?
Excuse me. Do you have a utility easement from the paved area of 110, and is there a utility easement in there, like all the way down?
Are you talking about from where the
Like where the
proposed
pole is being placed?
into,
No, just like anywhere along the 110 even. you
yeah,
know. I mean, it's-
anywhere along Route anywhere along Route 110, if there is a Verizon-owned pole, there should be, what I'm seeking here tonight is a grant of location.
I mean, what is it's like a 50-foot right of way, probably to the street, right? And
Right.
But it's paved about 30 feet or something
Yeah.
like that, so that gives you like 10 feet on each side?
Yeah, it's a state highway. It might actually be a little larger. The engineer might actually know that, I don't know if the engineer knows the extent of the taking out there, but usually when you're taking state highways, the extent of the roadway tends to be a little bit wider than your average.
So wherever you're putting in the state easement, aren't you? Which doesn't belong to anybody.
That's the intent. And just to clarify one thing, Madam Chairman, for Mr. Dixon, I'm sorry, it might have been for Mr. Hanson. The issue on the Verizon plan, two very brief comments about that. One, Verizon does, as a matter of course, keep the vans a little bit vague, as I said, only to address unforeseen circumstances in the field. Relative to what you're looking at here, I would not, the area that moves, the line that goes up north and south there, that is not the property line. That, I know the engineer, what she did, she went out and she just drew in what is the proposed driveway. Where the property line is on the west side of the developer's property, I don't know. It's not shown on this plan. That line is not the property line.
Okay, that would make sense, because it wouldn't make sense that you could put it on her frontage and then have a straight line up to 310, 311.
Yeah, we
It would
wouldn't-
almost have to be on the frontage of the 311 property in order to have a straight line from the pole and the conduit there.
Yeah,
And I think that's,
And as I said, I wasn't at the meeting. My engineer went to that meeting, and my understanding again was, and I don't want to speak for the abutter if she says otherwise, but the idea was to, make sure that pole was placed within the taking, and that any conduit or any wires that would be run from that pole would be kept well within the confines of the developer's property.
Okay.
That's the intent of what we're trying to do here.
maybe if we do make a motion on that, maybe we could just put that language in the motion.
What?
And just to clarify, I know that they have to stay on their own property, but I think it might be helpful.
Well, he's saying that the right-of-way might be even wider, so they don't know where it is.
I'm
Well,
just saying,
means it doesn't
whoever's
belong to
making the
anybody.
motion.
I don't think we need to have anything in a motion about whose property to be on, because we know they can't go on private property.
I just think it's a good idea, personally.
Okay. Janet, you have
But-
any thoughts?
Well, I'd like
in
to
mind.
see that letter, because or a copy of it, and my recommendation would be to continue the hearing to January 5th, and we commit to making a decision at that time. Because I would like to see, she's obviously very upset, and, thank you. We
I
get
don't- We'll
copies?
get a copy later.
Okay.
I think
I
if-
would like to be able to review this, go back out there, because again, she's visibly upset, and I just, with this, I think I'll have all the information I need to make a decision.
I wonder if we could also get a more precise plan. I mean,
Some
I know
photos.
I know it's hard to get it exact.
Don't they have to be certified? I mean,
Just take pictures.
Can I see the letter?
So specifically, what are you looking for a plan? I mean,
Real dimensions.
We're the surveying company, so I mean, we can go out there and physically set a stake wherever this pole is deemed to be located. It's that
well, you
simple.
know what we're looking at? We're looking at two different drawings with two different
National Grid and
locations.
Verizon. And
So-
they're ballpark, and they've explained to you that, generally speaking, it's going to be in front of our parcel, and it's not going to be on her land whatsoever. So if one's saying 70, one's saying 65, I mean, they're just trying to get the idea across.
It's a distinction without a difference, respectfully.
Yeah.
That's why I would suggest that you don't need to continue it. You have all the information you're going to get. You're not going to get more, because we
No,
can't define
because you
it all.
presented a letter to me that I haven't had the time to read, and I'm not going to rush and read it right now. So respectfully, I don't have all the information I need right now to make a decision, because I have a business owner here who's very visibly upset, and I
As
think
is
it would.
mine.
Okay, but I think it would be very disrespectful for me to make a decision right now without all the information I have. So it'd be disrespectful to you, it'd be disrespectful to you. There's a lot of emotions going on right now. I don't have the information that I need, and I am going to make a motion to continue the hearing to January 5th, 2015 at 7 PM.
Second?
Can I say just one word?
No.
All I want to say is the straight line is very, very
Okay,
important.
we understand, okay?
Because the table
Yes.
is that thick.
Okay.
If they want to twist and turn, they have to have engineers show
Okay,
me.
okay, Ms. Jen, okay. All right, so So we have a motion and a second. What we'd like is, we want to have a chance to review this letter, and we also would like, if it's possible, to have a more precise and accurate drawing of where the poles will be and where the conduit will be. George, you had a question?
It's a tough time of the year, too. I think they probably need the power as soon as possible. I mean, it's.
You're not gonna have occupancy in there for a
I'm
while.
not talking about occupancy. You need power to build, Bobby.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they need, you have temporary power in there right now, you know?
I don't believe so, no, and that's one of the issues. We've been trying to get this resolved now for over a month. The board asked us to meet with the abutter. We did that. The board asked us to engage and find out what her goals were. We did.
Okay, I
Last
appreciate
time-
that.
Last time we were here, it was about the sign. That sign issue's completely gone now because that isn't relevant. Then the question was, is it on our property? We've already disproved to you it isn't.
We understand, and it's been 2 weeks. It hasn't been a month. Bob?
I'd like to suggest to Ms. Chen that she have, is it Brian?
Yes.
Brian Sullivan? Attend that meeting so that we can,
He already
He
did.
told us he would be here. The last
No, he
meeting, he told
didn't,
us he
no.
would be here.
I mean,
This-
since this
one.
letter, I
Or he
want
did.
to, I want to ask him.
Yeah, she said
What
she
did
wouldn't
you
be here.
understand and what did she understand? I mean, it seems like.
With all due
It-
respect,
it-
it's
it
attorney-client
does-
between the two of them.
It does seem to be some discrepancy between what the attorney understood and what Ms. Chen understood, so I think we would like to have that resolved also.
Could I ask-
Not you,
Could I
her
ask,
attorney.
I understand that, but I would like you to, I try to appreciate the fact that you want to take into everyone's viewpoints. I get it. But I'm asking, why do we have to extend such courtesies one way? That letter was sent literally on December 11th by mail, even though our offices physically are less than 100 yards away to each other. It could have been sent to me. We could have addressed it. We could have had 4 days to talk about it. Instead, I got it in the mail today, and he was already at the site. And now it's representing to us in writing tonight. I'm coming here thinking we have an agreement. It isn't fair to my client as the developer to be delayed further as a result of alleged, even if it's a miscommunication between a client and an attorney. That's their business, not mine. But we have rights too, and our rights are being impacted by the continuations of these hearings.
Well, Mr. Hauser, we do have a right to continue this hearing.
You've done it, and all I'm asking is, what specifically are you looking for that hasn't been supplied? Because I'm not hearing that there's going to be any new information provided to you that impacts the relevant criteria for voting on this.
I would like to hear from Mr. Sullivan. She should.
Did.
It's not fair that, yeah, but that's, maybe he misunderstood, but she should have the benefit of having counsel here, okay?
And he was, and he's in writing, he's
He's not here
represented.
tonight is what I'm saying, so.
Okay, I think we've had enough discussion on this. We have a motion and a second. All in favor of continuing? This would be for both hearings, are you? Okay. Continuing? Okay. Would say aye?
Yep.
Opposed? Okay. 4-1.
No,
Okay.
I'm sorry, was that?
That was an aye, yes, right?
No.
I was opposed.
You were opposed, okay.
So,
It's 3-2.
I voted yes to continue.
And Ms. Askenberg was yes, and Mr. Joyce was yes?
That's
Yes.
correct.
Just wanted to understand. Can I have the
Okay.
letter back, please?
yeah, we got another one, don't we?
We'll make sure we get one.
Okay.
I thought you have one, Janet. You have one? Is that a different one? Oh, that's the
There's
one.
only one.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're moving on to some licenses. We have a one-day,
Close the hearing? No.
we just continued it.
All right, I'm sorry.
We have a one-day beer and wine license. We have a one-day beer and wine license for St. John the Evangelist Church. Is there anybody here for St. John's? We'll try to be a little bit easier on you.
Yes, this should be really short and sweet. I'm here representing St. John's Parish in North Chelmsford. Our African community would like to have a Christmas party on Sunday, December 21st. And it's roughly going to be from 1 to 5. And they would like to offer the opportunity to celebrate with a little bit of beer and wine. So I'm asking respectfully for that one-day license approval. We have done very good in, previous parties or activities, and we know how to behave.
We haven't ever gotten any complaints, I don't
so.
believe,
Not at
so we believe you.
We have to keep our name really up high. It's a parish, it's a church, so.
Okay, any board members have any questions for the applicant? Bob?
Yeah, the person with the TIPS certification is Lucas? Is that
That's
the-
myself, Liliana Lucas.
And you have TIPS certification?
I have the certification in place, yes, it's still good.
You do, okay.
Yes.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any other questions? Have a motion?
I make a motion to approve a one-day beer and wine license for St. John the Evangelist Church on December 21st, 2014, for the hours of 1 o'clock p.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. to be exercised on the premises at the 115 Middlesex Street, North Chelmsford.
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas to all of you. Thank
too.
you.
Okay, we have a change in manager for the Take Two 110 Grill.
Thank you. Good evening. For the record, Attorney Kevin Erickson on behalf of the applicant, here before you for a change of manager for the 110 Grill. Ryan Dion is here with me tonight. He's the proposed manager for the premises, for the liquor license, I should say. If you have any questions, certainly we're available, and I think we could answer them.
Any board members have any questions?
The young lady that was there just recently, was she just like acting or just working there, or is she?
It's a guy.
I forget her name, but she was at the.
Oh, Dawn. Dawn is still there.
Okay.
Yep.
I think the license was in a guy's name.
Dan was the previous license
Dan, right.
manager.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. No.
Now, Ryan, I noticed you work at Burton's Grill. Are you going to be manager for both?
I am at 110 now.
Okay, because I noticed it says number of hours per week you'd be at the premises at 20. I think that's a little light for a manager.
It's an estimate. See, he manages the restaurant in Chelmsford as well as the restaurant in Nashua that we just opened. So he's the overall manager of the 110 Grill and the appropriate person, we believe, for the license manager.
Okay, but
So-
there will be somebody there.
Oh, yeah,
Going
absolutely.
to be responsible.
Absolutely. And Dawn, by the way, is TIP certified as well. Ryan is and Dawn is.
Do you have any
I
questions?
was just going to ask if he was TIP certified.
He is.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yes.
Any other questions for the applicant?
No plans to be the manager at any third locations anytime soon? Is it just going to be the two for now, or?
For now, it's just the two, that's correct.
I make a motion to approve a change of manager for Take Two 110 Grill LLC, doing business as 110 Grill, from Daniel Smathers to Ryan Dion, to be exercised on the premises at 116 Chelmsford Street.
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have a new beer and wine license for Bill Pappas Golf School at 70 Princeton Street.
Hi, my name is Bill Pappas. I've been a business owner in Chelmsford. This is our 25th year now.
Oh, congratulations.
And, thank you. And we have a indoor golf facility with golf simulators. People come play in the winter. And I would like to get a beer and wine license for people who come to play golf. I have some competition coming in the area. They all have beer and wine, so I'm just trying to keep up.
Makes sense.
All right.
Any questions for the applicant?
Yeah, why'd you wait so long?
I don't know. I just never thought we needed it.
Yeah.
Now that other people have it,
Mhm.
and I never really wanted it in the
Yeah.
old days, but I think we have to now.
Okay.
I think it's just time.
I have a couple questions. We have a layout of your facility here.
Yeah.
Where exactly will you be serving it and
Do you
storing
want me to
it?
show you, or is it up on the board?
I think we're going to bring it up here.
Let's see. Paul have it. Well, keep going.
We're almost there.
Those ABCC forms.
It's a long
Yeah.
form, huh?
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
No wonder you didn't apply earlier.
Yeah.
There you go.
There it is.
All right, where are we? Can you go up just a little bit more?
Sure.
All right, so here's the simulator room. I have 15,000 square feet. So what we're gonna do is, here's our office, and we have a little kitchen area here. We're gonna cut a hole here, and we're gonna put lattice up here. That way people who walk in won't even see the bear. They're just gonna use the facility, because we have people that come in to practice, and we just wanna keep it in this area, just for the simulator. So we'll have a little hole here, and we'll just serve it out there and just to this room. That's the plan. We really don't need it for the rest of the place, just that one room.
What's the rest of the place?
Practice,
Putting.
people come in and hit balls, and
Yeah, putting.
I teach, so I give lessons. I have a private area for that.
Now, do you have somebody who'll be tip certified, who'll be serving?
Yeah.
you? Okay.
Me and my wife probably, she might do it, I think. One of us will definitely do it.
Okay, now where will you store, you'll store the beer there also? Okay,
Yeah,
and
right in the
it'll be
kitchen.
secure some way so that somebody just walking in can't come in?
Oh, yeah, it'll be behind the counter. Nobody can get in there.
Okay.
The certification, you have to take a test for it, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can do that for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I think probably have my wife do it, because she'll be in the office more than me. We're there, it's just me and her.
Okay.
We run the whole place, just me and my wife.
Okay, I noticed that the lease that you provided is from 1995. Is that the most recent lease that you have?
It's 1995, but it goes till 2022. And I have an extension now that goes to 2032. I just haven't signed it yet because I'll be 75 years old when that thing expires, so I'm not sure. But I am right now good till like 2022. It was a 25-year lease originally.
Okay. And now you're only open in the winter months, is that correct?
No, I'm open, I used to be open year-round. Right now, I'm open in the winter. We used to be open year-round. My wife used to open in the summer, and we'd get some traffic, but not much. But my wife gets sick. She got lung cancer, so she doesn't work in the summer anymore. We close. But, if she gets better, we'll probably go back to letting people come in the summer.
Okay, because, I don't know, the copy of the lease that we have says the term shall be for 1 year commencing November 1st, 1995, and ending October 31st, 1996.
No.
And it says it'll be for 6 months.
Can I see that?
Sure.
Should I look up there?
Yeah, he can probably bring it up. It's the next page as well. On the,
you want the next page? Sure.
yeah.
Hold on.
Right there.
Yeah, and that says 7,000
August,
square feet. So it looks like maybe we don't have the most recent lease.
Oh, she thought I sent you the wrong lease. I have to bring in the right
Make the approval pending.
Well, this is the first time. We should
That's my
continue it
own space
anyway.
on the third floor. She sent me the wrong lease.
Okay, that's.
Another
Because I
question.
was in the same building on the third floor.
Okay.
I had 7,000 square feet. Now I have 15,000
Okay.
square feet.
All right.
And my lease is good till 2022. I can bring
Okay.
you that.
Okay, I
I can
believe
bring
you.
that to Sharon.
Another question I have, I wonder if you could provide confirmation to us that the landlord is okay with you doing this?
Okay, yeah, I could, for sure, because I already talked to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just so we have that in writing. Okay. And it is typically the policy of this board on a new license like this to continue it until our next meeting, continue the vote for the approval till our next meeting, just because a lot of people, this is going to be the first time they've heard about this, and in case somebody does want to, come and have any concerns about it. So, anybody else have any questions?
That will give you time to get your tip certification. because
Okay, I should get that before you
don't
send it
get,
to the
yeah, if you
ABC.
don't get tip certified, we're gonna write it into the motion that you can't operate until you have it.
Well, the ABCC wouldn't give them
Oh,
approval.
ABCC wouldn't do it, right, okay.
Okay,
So you should work on that right away.
all right, I'll get that done.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, could we have a motion then?
Make a motion to continue the public hearing to January 5th, 2015 at 7 o'clock PM.
Seconded?
Okay, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Okay,
included a motion.
You know. Okay, next we have is our annual license renewals. Janet, if you just want to, I don't think you need to read what the contingencies are, just,
No contingencies?
well,
Okay.
just as presented, or however you want to word that.
I make a motion to approve the 2015 all alcohol club licenses to American Legion, Alberton W. Vinyl Post 314, and Chelmsford Elks Inc., Lodge 2310, as presented.
Seconded. What is the joint inspection?
That's, what is it, the fire and building inspector have to go and do an inspection once a year?
Fire and building inspector?
Is that all, or if there are others or not?
The police do
Board
it?
of Health.
Board of Health.
Police don't do anything, no. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to,
I was gonna say, I think you can say it as presented if you want, but it doesn't matter.
just the whole
That's
thing?
what-
For
Well,
all licenses.
Well, I would prefer that they all be, that the names be read, but
Yeah.
yeah, just as presented, right, the way you said, yeah.
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve the 2015 all alcohol inn holder licenses to Best Western Chelmsford Inn and Radisson Hotel and Suites as presented.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to approve the 2015 all alcohol restaurant licenses to Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar, Fishbones, Omega Pizzeria and Grill, Sushi Yanagi, and Glenview Lounge and Pub as presented.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to approve the following 2015 all alcohol restaurant licenses with the contingencies as listed and presented. April's European Restaurant, Brick House Center Pub and Pizzeria, Chelmsford Country Club, Feng Shui Asian Cuisine, Hong and Kong Restaurant, Kastori Restaurant, Madras Grill, Moonstones, Nobo Restaurant, Faux de Lot, Rufina's, Sichuan Palace, Szechuan Chefs Inc., Thai Jasmine Restaurant, The Java Room, Bertucci's Brick Oven Ristorante, 110 Grill, Princeton Station, Festa Realty, Courthouse Pub, India Palace, and Jesse's Place.
It's Jesse's place.
Jesse's Place has been.
Yeah, we can
removed from the
remove
latest
Jesse,
one.
yep.
Yep.
It was a late ad.
It was a
No,
late
it's a late-
deletion.
late deletion.
They're dropping their alcohol license.
As amended.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to approve the following 2015 beer and wine restaurant licenses with the contingencies as listed and as presented. Drumhill Moe's Southwest Grill, Sal's Pizza, Yung Tong 2 Thai Restaurant, Zesty Pizza Fletcher Street, Zesty Pizza Vinyl Square, Amici Trattoria, Jimmy's Pizza Subs and Seafood, Sakura Japanese Cuisine, and The Pizza Place.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to approve the 2015 all alcohol package store licenses to Cask and Bottle, Drum Hill Liquor Mart, Harrington Wine and Liquors, The Corner Cupboard Inc., The Wine Rack, Westland Wine and Spirits as presented.
And Sam's?
With the contingency that's listed.
Sam's? Did
No.
you say Sam's?
No. We're not gonna, no, we're not gonna renew them now at this point.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye. I make a motion to approve the 2015 common victular licenses to, Antonio's Pizza, Boston Market, Brickhouse Pizza, Brothers Pizza, Chelmsford Diner Inc., Chelmsford NEP, Little Caesars, China Mountain, DeAngelo's, Domino's Pizza, Dunkin' Donuts, Acton Road, Dunkin' Donuts, Chelmsford Street, Dunkin' Donuts, Drumhill Road, Dunkin' Donuts, Tingsboro Road, Einstein Brothers Bagels, Fresh Chow, Friendly's, Gary's Ice Cream, Jones Farm, Kate's Corner, Lou's Kitchen, ML Chelmsford LLC, Tedeschi, Market Basket, Mass Burgers, Chelmsford, Five Guys, McDonald's, Orange Leaf Yogurt, Papagino's, Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen, Rick's Diner, Rosie's Diner, Stop and Shop, Subway 83 Parkhurst Road, number 15, Wilcat, Subway 66-4 Parkhurst Road, Parshey, Subway Chelmsford Street, Boomika, Sugar Bake Shop, Sully's Ice Cream, Three Sisters Center Deli, Benito Ristorante, presented.
And also Jesse's. They want to come in Vickers, right, Paul?
Right, they're on the next list.
Oh, they are?
There were a couple that were on my list that you didn't name.
Did you get the latest?
I don't, well, it was in, I have the book. Friendlies wasn't on there?
I said Friendlies.
Did you say Friendlies?
Yeah, it's alphabetical.
Okay, yeah, I thought you missed it. How about Popeyes? Did you say Popeyes?
Yeah, it said Popeyes.
Okay, all
She
right.
would miss Popeyes.
Yeah. I emphasized Popeyes.
And what about the fourth Subway
Yeah, what
on
about the
Littleton
fourth
Road?
subway? That was my question.
Yeah.
I don't have that one.
I know.
They have to have a license.
Well,
Maybe
amended
it's in
to
another
include
group.
subways.
Oh, there is one on the next page. Yeah, because they have contingencies, where the ones you just read do not.
Yeah, and I said as presented.
Yep.
So second my motion already, Bob.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the following 2015 common victular licenses with the contingencies as listed and presented. Burger King, Honeydew Donuts, Panera Bread, Starbucks, Subway Littleton Road, Swaminu Corp.
Oh, that was the other one, yeah. And Jesse's?
Yeah, and Jesse's. Jesse's is on this one, yeah.
You say Jesse's?
And Jesse's Place.
Seconded?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the 2015 Class 1 Auto Dealer's License to JP Rivard Trailer Sales and Route 3A Motors, Inc. as presented.
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to approve the 2015 Class 2 Auto Dealers Licenses to A-Plus Repair, Inc., Autos Unlimited, B&G Auto Sales, SB and EE Auto Sales, Beantown Motors, Body Works Auto Body, Chelmsford Auto Sales, Duffy's Auto Company, Inc., Dutra and Barros, Inc., Route 110 Carmel, Ferrera Wrecker Sales, Jim Gervais Sales, Inc., Jonathan Gilmet, McGovern Automotive, Merrimack Auto Sales, Inc., Northeast Transmission Company, Inc., NTC Automotive, Overdrive Motors, LLC, PS Car Sales, Route 40 Equipment Sales, LLC, Silva's Garage, Stony Brook Auto Body, Inc., TNJ Auto, Inc., Townline Auto Sales, and Triangle Service Center as presented.
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to approve the following 2015 Class 2 Auto Dealers licenses with the contingencies as listed and presented. R&P Automotive, Chadwick Ross, Inc., M&M Towing, Inc.
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're on to reports and presentations. The first presentation is about the C-Click Fix. Trish Juris, who's going to make this presentation?
Oh.
Good evening. Thank you very much for having me today. Paul, did you want me to stand here and you scroll through or
That'd be
click
fine.
over, or do you want me to go over there and
I
click
can
through?
keep moving. I've been
All right, we'll
pretty
see how.
busy all night. Get the hang of it
Okay,
now.
you've been clicking away
Got a
really
hand
good there
cramp.
last. Well, it's been 6 months since we initiated the C-Click Fix mobile application and the Citizen Request Tracker software on our website. It's working really well in terms of ease of use and transparency to the public, which is really nice. We've had the few little glitches that we've had is mostly routing issues. We have it categorized by which department things should get sent to, and then which issues, what types of issues go where. So we have, like when I go in my back end as an administrator, this is what I see. This is the dashboard that I take a look at. And it has the graphs that show in orange all of the open at that date. There's a date and time on here, which I think when I looked at this, it was the December 11th is when I did your packets. So there were, less than 10 issues open. Actually, it was, it just gives me the bar. The acknowledged ones are green. And then the blue bars in the line graph at the bottom shows which ones were closed. So the process is, and again, it was a learning process for our staff because it's new, that they when an issue gets submitted from the public, whether it's through our website, which the large orange chunk of the pie graph is a widget on our website. So at the time, there was 84 came from the widget on our website or their mobile application, whether they're Android or their iPhone. They can access C-Click-Fix through the website, just going to cclickfix.com. We've initiated some that we see, Paul and I or anybody else can that works for the town. And then mobile web and such. We haven't really promoted it on Facebook, obviously, enough, so we'll have to work on that. But basically, you've got issues by agency, and then they're assigned to the different employees. So the issues by agency are whatever we think somebody needs to report on. And we've added them as time has gone on. So you can see by this list, I'll read them off because I know it's hard to read when you've got a document there. Potholes is really one of our largest things. So Julie does a really good job at the Highway Department trying to respond to potholes. So when she gets a service request for a pothole, she gets an email notification. She opens the request. She's then to acknowledge it. So she actually has to press the button acknowledge and with a comment that she's going to pass it on to the appropriate person. She can print work orders from her dashboard of everything that's in her category by the issue or just everything that's sent to her. And then she can send them out that way. And then she gives them to the guys who go out in the field and they fix whatever they need to fix, and then she's supposed to go back in and close the issue. The challenge has been the closing part, because we know that she's always been good with whether it's a phone call, an email, or whatever, or C-Click-Fix, about telling the guys this came in and giving them the work orders. It's just going back and getting the follow-up from the field has been a challenge, and then remembering to go back in and close them out. The system does send reminders, both to the requester and to the person who it was assigned to, saying, "Oh, you've got these issues open." And again, they're now kind of trained to get in there on a regular basis and look at their dashboard and see, oh, if you have any of those orange bars, you need to go in there and take a look at those things and get them acknowledged. So the potholes are the busiest. The one that takes the longest to close is streetlights, because you're talking about sending an outside vendor to go and assess the situation. So if it's an easy fix, that she can get the feedback right away, and she can say, okay, yeah, it was a bulb, they changed it, boom, we can fix it. But a lot of times they have to wait for the vendor to go look at it. They might not hear back as to what the problem is. They might have to replace something. That takes time to order the part and then comes back in. And so she doesn't always know from the vendor when that streetlight's been fixed. But luckily, we have residents paying attention, and if they don't hear anything and they get a notification saying, oh, it's been 30 days, then everybody gets that email notification saying, okay, can you just check on this again? So that's where you'll see, ideally we like to have these things acknowledged right away and then closed within 7 business days. So we have some improvement, but overall right now is where it stands for our 6 months. Of the 361 issues that have been opened since we started, 261 were acknowledged, and you can close them without acknowledging if it's just something that is a FYI thing or doesn't actually need any action on our part. So, and 316 issues have been closed. So we still have the difference of outstanding issues. And the staff is getting really good about making sure they know that it's almost like they get these reports from me too, and they kind of go, oh, geez, my days to close is a little high. Got to work on that. Or we've developed some canned responses for some repeated. Sometimes you just get the same thing, and the answer is the same no matter what you get. If it's a pothole, okay, they tell you it's a pothole, how big it is, and where it is, and then the answer is usually, okay, great, we'll send somebody out to fix it. So that's a canned response. It doesn't mean that, but they still have to physically go in there and acknowledge it, and it just saves them a few steps in typing is really all it is. So they do that, and then we're trying to get them to close them out. And the closing should be the issue's been fixed. Not just, okay, we've notified the right person, so we can close it out. So then, we still have to work on that a little bit. But so far, like I said, the ease of use for the resident, it's great because you just go to our homepage and you report a concern, they click on it. It brings them to our website, which I think, Paul, I have the web open just so that they can see what it looks like on our website. Yeah, that right there. So when they click report a concern, they're going to, there's some text above which talks about the different categories that we have, but then there's the map, and then they can report the issue right there from that tab. So there's we've added some things to that list, gives them a little description, and then they scroll down and where it says report, they type in the street address, and they can go to the next step. Or if they want to see everything that's been reported in town, they click on the issues tab. Can you click on that for me? And it shows the pins of where everything, oh boy, I did sign in earlier, but that's okay. So it shows the pins of everything that's currently there. And the nice thing is well, we do see no, we don't see any orange pins, which is good. We don't want to see the orange pins. Green is fine, green is acknowledged, blue is closed. The orange pins we try to avoid. So good job, Julie, she's got that.
I have a quick question
Yeah.
while it's up. It
Yeah.
says heating in classrooms. So then who does that go to? It's the third one down.
Okay, well, why don't you go ahead and click on that for me, Paul, and we'll see how they responded to that. So that's been acknowledged. Can you click on the blue, the actual heating in classroom? Click on that, yeah. And that's going to take you, and scroll down a little bit. So that was assigned, trying to see how it was assigned heating and Facilities. Okay, good. So that went to the right place. So facilities manager is working with superintendent. So she responded to that appropriately. So public facilities is one of the departments that's on here. We don't have every single department on here because a lot of people don't get issues from the.
Well, they use school dude as well.
They use school dude. So public facilities is the appropriate department to do that. But it's nice to see they're doing a good job. They really are. But it was a learning process. It's an additional task. They have to remember to go into that dashboard in the morning, when they get there, and they have to schedule their time because you know how disruptive emails can be. Sometimes you answer them right away, and then it pulls you away from something else, or sometimes you got to do them in a batch. And I for myself, I have a folder that says C-Click Fix, so everything goes in there. So when I get to do that, I like to go C-Click Fix. Here's all and just do them all at once. It just makes it easier for me to schedule my time. They're obviously doing a really good job with that. From the resident standpoint, we ask that we please be patient and civil. It is something we strive for, 100% success. They're not always going to get the answer that they want. I mean, just because you report it, everything still has to be prioritized based on whatever's happening in town. So, they might want to run out there and fix that, 3-inch crack in a sidewalk, but with winter coming, it might not be as big of a priority as it would be to fill the 24-inch pothole in the middle of a main street. So it's still up to each department to be able to prioritize how that work is done. So we do ask for patience, and we like I said, we have our goals to close it within 7 days, but some categories are just not possible. And so we keep an eye on the numbers, and we try to add things as they're needed. Like we had a request to add illegal dumping, and that's going to be an interesting challenge because illegal dumping doesn't always happen, right at the side of the road. If it does, DPW responds really quickly. But if illegal dumping is happening out in the conservation trails, we have relied on a lot of the residents that go out there and see this stuff, and they use the trails to do it. So I haven't had any reports yet on illegal dumping, but we're going to monitor that and see what kind of things come in and how quickly we can respond to those things. And open air violations, that's another one that was recently added. No reports on that yet, but open air burning is something we get a lot of phone calls in fire prevention that, did this person have a permit, or, there's a flame over here and I don't know if that's supposed to be burning right now. So, but there is a disclaimer in there that says, please don't use this to report emergencies. So we ask that they not do that. So we look at the dashboard from the back. I have the reporting capability, which you had a copy of. I also get on a daily basis an open report sent to me. So I know if there's an accumulation of things that are open for a long period of time, I can see, oh geez, we had a flood of things coming in for that day. But usually the open report I get is just usually 1 or 2 items that are open. Have there been any feedback or questions that you've had experiences with on this program, or any recommendations so far for?
I have a question, Trish.
Yeah.
If someone calls you on the phone,
Yep.
you put a ticket in for it?
I do sometimes. I actually I was. The DPW asked me to just hold off until they were, but I think they're ready to do it again. I would like to see everybody do that. I think it's
Yeah.
a great way for everybody to track what's being called in. Sometimes I get calls of a more sensitive nature, so I don't, or
Right,
people
right.
don't want it on
Right,
there.
right.
I've reported things for people.
Okay.
But they, because they don't always have this capability themselves. So.
If someone called you about a street light being out, that would be
Absolutely,
an easy one.
absolutely. And I think this is a great way to track streetlights because there's so many of them.
Right.
And so it's just all right there. This is all exportable to Excel as well. So it's nice if you just ever need to see a list
One
of
other
just
question, I
streetlights.
don't know if you can answer it, or Paul. Who is our street light vendor?
Is it Johnson
No,
Controls?
we maintain the streetlights, the
Right.
LED streetlights.
Right.
Johnson Controls, as part of the energy performance contract, did the replacement.
Oh, okay.
And then the issue also becomes with National Grid, because only National Grid can connect the light to
Right.
the power source.
Right.
So what happened during the transition, and why there were some delays, is we would have to check with Johnson Controls to find out why is the light not working. Is it not working because it's not connected,
Right.
at which point it's a National Grid issue, or is it an issue not working because of the new LED fixture? The good news is with the new LED fixtures, they have a longer
Right.
period of before maintenance is required.
Eventually,
So-
our guys will.
But our guys do it. We have a bucket truck in facilities, and they will go up and do everything, but they cannot do the electrical work to the National
Right,
Grid power.
right, that makes sense, yeah.
Right. So now that we're sort of at the end of the performance contract, Johnson Controls will leave the picture. We'll be back to where we were before, which is town maintains, but we can't do the electrical work, which is a National Grid
Right,
issue.
but changing a bulb in it would be.
Is us. We
Yeah,
do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Can you speak to the conservation reservation maintenance?
Yeah, and again, that was recently, we've been kind of tweaking that a lot because we know we have a resident who's out there on those trails every single day and he sees everything that goes on
Okay.
and it's great to know what's going on, but he also likes to say, oh, never mind, we got this. So it's nice that he's reporting things, but then he's also fixing them at the same time. But some of the conservation reservation maintenance tickets were going to our conservation agent, and she just, again, this is a new workflow, so it's a little difficult for some people to just kind of say, make time in their day. She's out of the office a lot, and she's out, meeting people on site visits. So Evan is doing all of the responses for the community development, for the conservation maintenance, and building inspection, building, whatever I called it, violations. So he's responding to those. And again, he didn't know, when I kept saying, Evan, you have to acknowledge it. He says, well, what do you mean acknowledge it? So sometimes he didn't get that you had to click that little radio button that says acknowledge and type. So he was
So it's just a
commenting.
training issue.
Yeah, he was commenting, but he wasn't acknowledging and he wasn't closing. So, but now he gets that. He sees the radio button. He knows he needs to. Because I'd say, as acknowledged by community development director, he says, and he'd say, there was one record in this is, what did I acknowledge? So he's actually commenting in there, and he just didn't know. So it is more of a training issue.
Did you say he takes care of the building code violation?
He
Building code
responds. He
violation.
responds for the building code violations in here again because a lot of the building they're out, and Amy is the
Building
only.
inspector wouldn't do it?
They're out of the building a lot. So for them to be tied down to the computer is a little tough for them to do. And, we also have another program that we've been teaching them to use, the new online permitting program. So they have their hands full technologically right now with View Permit. So Evan has volunteered to respond for those departments as well. He checks with them, obviously, when something comes in.
Great, thank you.
Matt, you had a question?
No question. I just want to say you had asked for feedback. I had gotten some good feedback. I think the residents really love it when they can put in a ticket and then get a response when it gets closed. People are just really thrilled about that.
Oh,
So
good. Yeah, well, thank you for
Thank
your
you.
initial help in the whole, mobile app thing, too. And, Paul, if you wanted to go back to the website piece, I just wanted to scroll down a little further because we see the widgets being used on the website a lot, but if you scroll down the page lower, you can see there's the links to, if you wanted to, just download the mobile app on your phone. That's the kind of the coolest thing about it is if you're out and about and you see something on, you just take your mobile phone and you take a picture of it and you can route it right there. And so that's nice when you're out and about. I know I've reported a
Happy
few
to see
things
you have
myself.
BlackBerry.
Yes, there is
The
still
one
BlackBerry.
person probably in the whole town that has a BlackBerry.
Yeah, there you go. You can use it on your BlackBerry too. But we are always looking for ways to streamline it, make it better. We'll be improving our response times, but and they're still learning as well. A lot of the staff, and as new staff come on, we try to train them. So if you see that there's anything else that you think we need to add categories, or if you think that just any feedback is welcome. Let me know. Any other questions?
Thank you. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks.
Okay, next up we have John Souza about vacating a foreclosure at 91 Concord Road.
Good evening, Madam, excuse me. Good evening, Madam Chairman, members of the board. Back in late June, the town received a foreclosure judgment on a property located at 91 Concord Road, and I've provided the board with a memo detailing a lot of the background information on this. Since that time in the summer, my office has been working with town council to go through the legal steps that we normally go through in these type of situations. And the good news is that in late November and on December 1st, the property owner made full payment to my office for all the taxes and fees that were outstanding. So in consideration of this full payment, I respectfully request that the board vote the motion that town council's prepared, and then also there's a form for the board to sign once that's completed.
Okay. Any questions for John? Okay, could we have this motion?
Make a motion to vacate the final judgment covering the tax taking made against Timothy P. Russell and Margaret A. McPhee for unpaid taxes covering the property at 91 Concord Road, Chelmsford, upon payment of all taxes, interest, and charges due as provided under MGL 6069.
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Deb Siriani, the Director of Council on Aging, to talk about the senior tax rebate program.
Hello, good evening.
Evening.
I'd like to also introduce Ralph Barisano, who is the Senior Tax Worker Committee Chair, and he's just going to stand as backup, I guess, right? And so thank you very much for your time. I did send this presentation to you earlier, and I just wanted to check in with you about how much you'd like to, in detail, you'd like me to present to the public.
That's up to you. I mean, you probably review
I'll
what's
just
on
try
the
to keep it as
slides.
quick as possible and just make sure we review all of the questions that you had. On the request of Paul and the Selectmen, we presented a PowerPoint of all the answers to the questions that were asked us of the Senior Tax Worker Program. And so what is the Senior Tax Worker Program? A lot of people in town may not know. The town funds $75,000 for the program currently, and Chelmsford senior homeowners work for the town in positions all around town in different departments, and they're able to get money at a rate of $8 an hour, and they're able to work for town departments to get a rebate up to $500 on their taxes. And so you need to be a homeowner and currently residing in your home that you pay for the taxes for. So right now, we have 150 slots all around town, positions, and we have about 154. I think this year we have 154 people in the program. That's because some people are unable to finish and a normal attrition. So we do have some people who are on a waiting list we're able to fit in.
About how many people are on your waiting list?
Usually, last year there were about 8 on the waiting list, and they all got fit in. The only people that haven't gotten fit in the past have been people who have very difficult schedules that don't fit into anybody's needs that are requesting for jobs right now. So we haven't had an issue with that. It's been great. So who runs it? It's run out of the senior center, and I supervise, and I say that lightly because they really do most of the work, and they give it to me, and I go, oh, great. A team of 4 volunteers. They also get money off their taxes, but they work well beyond the hours that are in the program. And Ralph is one of them. He's the chair. And Nancy Grippo. And the picture right here. And this is Lil McDonald, Lillian. And we also have a new gentleman, Bill Lappin. And so they do a wonderful job, sometimes 30 hours a week. Nancy Grippo will put in on a regular basis just to administer schedules and checking in with people, making sure that the hours are filled in. Lil does a lot of the reports. We do a monthly report to the assessors. So we require timesheets from all of the people that we have on the program, and we make sure that they're on track. We have workers in almost every town office. And if you know the department heads, I'm sure, I can almost guarantee they would say they're essential to running their programs that they do. I know I can say that about mine. We have various senior tax workers in the senior center, and they provide such great assistance in positions that we don't really have staff for, like taking the tickets at the lunch, registration and things like that, that are really great. So we really rely on them, and they have a great time too. So we have a lot of our senior tax workers that stay over the hours. At $500 right now, I think it's 63 hours that they're required to do, 63 and a half. And per year, and many of our senior tax workers do over 200 volunteer hours, so we are very lucky. So who benefits? Obviously the seniors do. The seniors get a break on their taxes. They also are engaged and needed and active in the community, which keeps them healthier. The town departments get a wonderful benefit from them, as I spoke of prior. We have a lot of senior tax workers who are retired engineers, retired school teachers, retired nurses, that are professional people that are able to help in great ways. The taxpayers, they actually get less cost to the town departments. I don't have to pay somebody to take the tickets at lunch, and therefore their taxes are lower. The students receive one-on-one time from an adult who's not in a rush. They're a great help for a growing population of special needs, children with special needs and disabilities. And I understand, I have a friend who's a principal, and I know it's just very difficult to cover all of the needs that children have with the staffing that they have. So they help teachers, they help the kids. Those are just pictures of some of our senior tax workers. So originally, in the program, I'm not sure how many years ago it started, actually.
We had 100, right, Paul?
We had 100.
The program's been in place for well over a decade.
Yeah. And we had 100 positions, and we had 750 per participant. And a few years ago, the number of workers was increased to 150 to benefit more people, and so the rate, the amount of hours that they had to do, they were able to make $500 back, and not the 750.
How did that go? How did that go over with the people that were from the previous year when you told them?
I wasn't here when that happened. So how did that go over, Ralph?
They were asking a lot of questions.
Yeah, okay.
And the answer was, Paul wanted more people on the program, he wanted to help.
Right, there was a question of whether we should means test it, and nobody wanted to do means testing. And so that's why they went to,
we still don't.
And we still don't. And that was the question of, let's do more, but then some would have to receive less. And that was sort of the debate that went on at the time.
Means testing would be a tremendous amount of administrative work, and we already have a tremendous amount of administrative work that's covered by our volunteers, and it would be very difficult
Does
to
the
do.
legislation allow means testing?
Yes.
Okay.
Some towns do it.
Okay.
We did a little market basket test of about 15 towns in the area, and not very many towns do the means testing. We are, with 150 slots, the second highest amount of slots. We, at 500 right now, we're the lowest amount per rebate. Some are 750 and some are 1,000. But we have many more people on the program, so. Right now, what we'd like to do is, if it's possible, we would recommend raising the amount per slot from $500 back to $750, and therefore making approximately 94 hours per slot for 150 slots. We, again, for administrative reasons, do not want to make more than 150 slots. One thing that we did not have in this slide, I just wanted to note, was that that's at $8 per hour, and if
Minimum
it
wage
goes
is
to
increasing
$9 an
January
hour,
1st. It goes up to
then
$9.
that would mean, let's see, that would mean $750 for 83 hours. 83.333. So we would get a senior tax worker doing 83 hours rather than 63 hours. And that means that in the middle of the year, we'd still have help and not have to switch people out, and would cause lot less issues in the middle of the year for a lot of department heads. So what we're asking for is an additional $37,500 allotment to help the seniors of Chelmsford to have a break on their taxes. This is important for people who have minimum amount of money coming in, and sometimes can make the difference between whether they can stay or not. One thing that's very important is if we keep seniors in town and able to stay in their homes, then they cost less for the town than, say, a family with children. And so that actually means a lower tax rate for everybody. So let's keep them in here. We would have an easier schedule. People would be in the position for longer, less need for training for people, less administrative oversight, and give people a bigger tax break. And thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions.
One question. How old do you have to be?
You have to be 60.
60.
60 and up.
60,
wow.
yeah. By the statute, it's 60 years old.
Oh, I would have thought it would have been 62 at least.
No, 60.
Okay.
And the most they can earn under the law is the minimum wage, which is, we noted earlier, is increasing to $9. That's the most they can earn under the program. And then the most that an individual can earn under the program is $1,000. So those are the caps. 60 years old has to be the minimum age. $9 an hour is the maximum wage, which is the minimum wage. And then the most that any person can earn under the legislation or the law is $1,000. So what
So we
Deb is
could keep it
describing,
at $8
right, what
an
she's
hour
describing
still, or
is
not.
750 cap locally, but you could go up to 1,000.
Right.
Oh, is that cap going to go up to 10 when the minimum wage goes up to 9, or how is?
No, the legislature would have to amend the law to make any changes. When they did the law, they basically said the maximum rate that one can be earned is the minimum wage. So that will change. The minimum wage changes. But the legislation, which is Chapter 59, Section 5K, says that the reduction cannot exceed $1,000. So that hasn't changed until the legislature changed it. In Chelmsford, town meeting, the last time we amended the total funding amount was back at the 2008 fall annual town meeting. That's when it was increased to $75,000. Before that, I think it was close. It was 50, and then it went to $75,000. And again, the only way we can increase it, because it doesn't come from an appropriation town meeting, it comes from our overlay, which is the amount set aside for abatements and taxes. The only way to increase that amount would be by a town meeting vote. So we'd have to go back to town meeting to if you wish to raise that $75,000 cap, because that was how the town meeting vote took place. It was Article 10 at the 2008 fall town meeting. So again, those are the parameters you got is how much does the town want to fund, which is unlimited just by town meeting vote, and then the most a senior can earn is $1,000. The most they can earn in terms of an hourly rate is $9 or a minimum wage now. And then, again, the question becomes if you have a number of participants. So theoretically, you could have 150 participants earning the maximum of $1,000. It would be $150,000. And then you take the 1,000 divided by 9, and you'd get that 83 hours is how you could, that's what it would be the ceiling in terms of that number of participants.
Right.
So we would not necessarily need to change it to 9.
Right,
9
right,
would
right.
be
It
the
it cannot
top.
exceed 9.
So
Right.
that decision would be made by
That's
town
locally.
meeting, or?
It could be made by town meeting. Right now, town meeting doesn't vote the hourly rate, but they do vote the aggregate amount from the overlay. But that, so right now, the hourly rate, can be adjusted locally through the program.
So if we went to town meeting, it would probably make sense to base it off a $9 hourly rate since it's going up next year anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you could, yes. It's a question of, like you said, how many hours are you seeking in the program? If you're paying $9 versus $8, I mean, the feeling is they're doing, and this is what we hear from the department heads, they're doing valuable work, so that's why we've always kept it at the minimum wage, is because it is, that's certainly worth that value. So you want to respect the effort and work that they're doing. But again, because of the number of people in the program, they've not earned at the maximum $1,000 level under the program.
Yeah.
Who are some of the other communities that you look at that do a great job?
Andover was the one that had the most, other than us, in terms of slots and money. I used to be in Carlisle. We had 24 slots in Carlisle. They did a wonderful job, though. It all depends on what the community's needs are, and we get requests from department heads for certain jobs that they need filled. And then my wonderful committee interviews them, places them. I mean, it's really a personnel department in a lot of ways, the 4 of them that run it. And I just thought, oh, great, thank you very much. Oh, yeah. It's
So
all
when do you
working
take
well.
applications and?
All
is
year round.
Just a rolling, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the one position will start January again. So from January until December. And then
Yep.
we finish usually in November.
Right, because
so
they
that
have to get
can
it on the
tax
actual
bill.
tax bill that goes out for the third quarter, so they try to wrap it up in November so that it then gets on their third and fourth quarter of actual bills.
And the assessor's office works wonderfully with us, too. They do a great job.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, thank
Any
you,
other
Deb.
questions?
Great job.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks,
you
Deb.
very much.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is comments about the new EPA stormwater management regulations. I don't know if everybody's had a chance to take a look at this. You may remember a couple months or so ago, we talked about the new regulations that the EPA was proposing for the stormwater. Some of them that would impact our DPW quite significantly as far as resources and money. So this letter came from,
This was drafted by our engineering division of the town, and they've been working with the NIMCOG
Okay.
effort, and I imagine that NIMCOG as a whole has been discussing this, so, but this letter was authored by our engineering division. I don't know if you want to sort of send a cover letter endorsing this and attaching the letter as your
That's what
comments.
I would
Yeah,
like to,
That'd probably be
yeah.
the best thing to do, because,
Right.
and as you noted, the deadline for comments is the 29th of this
right,
month.
the end of
Yeah.
this month, right. I have a question. On page 3, outfall inventory. What is an outfall?
That's where basically, like, for example, water leaves the road and goes into a brook, stream, or other property, and as you can see, their estimate is that we have over 600 outfalls in the community.
Okay.
And so they're trying to demonstrate the amount of effort that it's going to take, because again,
The
your
road might be a
your
good
road's going
example
off
of
of,
that.
right, you got 230 miles of road, lane miles, and so you can imagine how you've got outfalls all along the community, and also, it's quite an undertaking. Then you have to do sampling and so forth.
Right, I think that was one of the things that, that I know was going to really be, I don't know, have a huge impact on what we would do as far as the catch basins having to do the sampling and everything like that. I mean, right now, we just pay a flat rate to have those cleaned once a year or whatever, right? And if we were to have to go through and then test all the materials that they take out of there and have them keep track of everything, that would be huge.
Right. And then they want you to keep the catch basins at least half clean, so, but the catch basins don't fill up linearly, along the street,
Right.
and that becomes the challenge. So it's quite daunting, but,
Did anybody else have any questions, comments about this letter?
Thought it was very well written, very comprehensive.
So could we have a motion to endorse it?
Motion to what?
Endorse it, support it, or?
Motion that the Board of Selectmen write a letter endorsing the DPW letter to the U.S. EPA Region 1 dated December 9, 2014.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks. And then we did receive another letter from National Grid about vegetation maintenance. Just wanted to make the community aware of this, that National Grid has notified us that they will be doing some pruning of trees and other vegetation along the power lines that go from Westford. I think that goes into Billerica, and up here now is what is where that that maintenance will take place. This is not, just so it's clear, it's not along any streets or anything like this. These power lines go across property and through property. Do you guys have a question? Okay.
it's sort of near where Bob is, on the Turnpike Road corridor
Yeah.
that runs across town.
Just thought you were doing a great job.
Not anymore, huh?
Is it the lines that are up on
Right.
Turnpike? you're talking
Yeah,
about?
the ones that go across, yeah.
Is this the same vegetation that is affecting my man down on Burning Tree Road?
I believe so.
It
And
does
that-
go
yes,
across
and basically
there.
what they're doing is they're putting in new lines. That's part of the reason for
Yeah.
the vegetative management program as well, is they're actually relining that
Yeah.
effort.
Yeah.
So they're putting in quite an investment. putting it in.
On Turnpike Road, there is a gate and it is
Yeah.
locked.
Yeah.
So I don't know why we can't
trying.
lock the gate down on Burning Tree. But anyway, we're dealing with a, what do you call it? A monopoly? What would you call them?
A utility.
A utility, that's the same
utility.
thing.
Utility, which is a monopoly.
Right, a monopoly, right.
Okay. So anybody have any comments or anything else on that? No. Okay, great. All right, on to town manager reports.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Just a couple items this evening. One has to do with town office holiday hours. You may have seen this come up even at the federal level. Per past practice and tradition, the town offices close at noon on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, and then we're closed for the legal federal and state holidays of Christmas and New Year's. This year, Christmas falls on a Thursday. The federal government, by executive order, has made that Friday a furlough day, or not furlough day, they're actually getting paid. They basically made it a day of non-work for the executive branch per the president. We were a little more fiscally conservative than that. We've agreed with our labor unions, who are now non-24/7, obviously non-public safety, that we will be closed on the 26th of December, that Friday, but yet they will take a scheduled day of work, such as we do the day after Thanksgiving. So in other words, if you're in the clerical union, the town offices will not be open that day, but you will be charged a PTO day for that day. So I wanted to let people know that the town offices will close, obviously at noon on the 24th. We'll be closed the 25th and 26th, and actually we'll come back that Monday, the 27th. On New Year's, we're actually opening up on on January 2nd. We will be open regular hours that Friday. There will probably be reduced staff in the building, but all the departments will be open. And that, again, this usually only happens once every 7 years or so, but it seemed to be the best way of addressing it in terms of, getting people to work, and also just, it will sort of help us a little bit with the heating. Now, fortunately, the schools are closed, so they don't have that issue.
Right.
Schools will be closed right through beginning that Wednesday, and won't come back till the 5th of January as well. So I just wanted to let the board know and the community know. And I think the library will be doing the same thing. They will be closed the 26th of December, but they will be open that Saturday and Sunday, the 27th and 28th. And again, they'll be open on January 2nd as well. But again, and obviously police and fire, they'll be 24/7. They'll be out there and so forth. So I just wanted to let people know the holiday hour schedule.
So,
Go ahead.
okay, question. So they're going to be using PTO?
Yes, they'll be charged a day of
Right.
personal time. Yeah,
Is that,
paid time off. Yeah.
is it legal? It's kind of like a forced day?
Well, yeah, because we agreed to it with the unions.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. Had they not agreed, we would have done something differently.
Okay.
But we sat down with the clerical, the different people, and they agreed to do that.
Could you notify SONUS about the president's edict, please?
But, okay, the next item I have is the status report on the Board of Selectmen Town Manager's goals. Again, normally we give a status report early in the year, but things, like some other things, got pushed back because of the prolonged fall annual town meeting. And so what I've done, and I prepared a draft, reviewed it with the chair, and then put the copy in your packet in terms of the list of items that are on our website and that you adopted back several months ago now, in terms of where we're at. I don't know if you want me to walk through these, or how you want to do it, Pat. Or if you
Yeah,
just
I don't
wanna-
know if anybody
do you have
has
any
any
questions, or
questions. I mean,
what you wanna
given
do?
the
Are we going
time.
to take action on it tonight?
No.
No, okay.
No.
Because this is the first I've seen them.
No, but I just
Okay.
wanted you to be aware that,
I couldn't get mine.
Okay,
Okay.
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 Just,
You have a question, Matt?
I had a question about Comcast. I know we're going to be having the public hearing scheduled in February, but are there other discussions going on, like with your office or someone before then, like preliminarily?
Yes, we're having discussions with telemedia. Basically, this is going to be an informal, what they call an informal license procedure, renewal procedure, even though it is formal. But it's so the license with Comcast expires in March of 2016. The town's legal counsel on this has been Peter Epstein, going back to probably when Bob was on the board the first time.
It was.
So Peter, we've been in touch with Peter and so forth. The big issue that cable access is seeking is they want to have the local access channels put on the high definition tier. Because that way they can just see more clearly these meetings. And
we have high-def cameras.
And high-def cameras. Unfortunately, we've not seen any... We're obviously monitoring other communities' efforts in this domain, and we're sort of trying to, I guess we're politely saying we're at the foreground of this initiative, which is a nice way of saying we haven't seen other communities attain that yet in the license. And obviously we have another license with Verizon. The Verizon license, since it was the first FiOS license, that was a 15-year license. That will be 5 years ago. It'll be 5 years ago next year. So basically, the licenses are going to be coterminous in 2026. But right now, we're sort of in what would be the 6th year of the Verizon license with the 10-year renewal. Generally, the licenses now are 10-year renewals, and you can imagine the technology changes and industry changes in 10 years. Think about where you were 10 years ago, and think where we might be 10 years from now, and also all the things you're seeing happening with basically the convergence of internet and cable television and everything else. So we are working with legal counsel. You are the licensing authority, so the ascertainment will be held by you in February. Will probably be the second meeting in February. So there'll be a public hearing. It'll be advertised. We'll notify Comcast and so forth. Basically, it's just the name suggests, it's ascertainment. It's hearing the needs. So you'll get a lot of testimony, obviously welcome from residents, but you'll get a lot from telemedia and so forth. And then that becomes the basis of discussion for the renewal license with Comcast a year from now. You understand how the industry works. It's a regulated utility, as we talked earlier. We're not aware of any utility ever losing their license in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, but we are in a competitive situation here with the other provider. So so anyway, we will be doing a due diligence, and as I said, you'll see that in February.
So,
go ahead.
So can you can you make a contract with Comcast and then also have FiOS? Evidently, we can, because we're doing that, right?
Right.
So what,
There becomes key issues of competitive issues.
yeah, did we
That's
get things, did we get anything?
the issue of
from-
level playing field is
Yeah.
the
Did we get anything from Verizon when they signed up?
Oh, yeah.
As
Oh,
far
yeah.
as money or
yes,
equipment?
yes. We get cap, and that will all be presented at the meeting in February. We get capital money from both cable television providers on an annual basis, as well as a portion of that surcharge on your bill that pays the operations for telemedia. And so part of the ascertainment is demonstrating why that needs to continue, and what you'll hear from telemedia is their budget plan and capital
Right,
and operating going forward to continue this, because
So
again,
it's going to come before us, we'll see it.
Exactly.
Hear it. Okay.
Okay. If there are no further questions, I'll move on. The next item on my list is, last Friday morning, the Capital Planning Committee completed their efforts for fiscal year 16. There is the list in your packet, which is on there. And also, there's a 5-year plan that I also sent out to you. Where it goes from here is basically they've completed their recommendations. At the end of January, I'll present the fiscal year 2016 budget and operating and capital. Practice has been in the 8 budgets I presented. I've always advanced the capital plan committee's recommendations in their entirety. I don't foresee that changing this year. But I just wanted to let people know that information is available out there. On our website is not only this list, but also the detailed 5-year plan and the descriptions for each product. That then, as you know, gets presented to the Finance Committee. You then make a recommendation for town meeting, Finance Committee makes a recommendation from town meeting, and then the whole plan and their descriptions are put in the FinCom booklet that then goes to town meeting, for the spring annual town meeting in April.
So, is there any wiggle room in here for us to reduce some of these things, or?
Well, that can always be done by town meeting.
Can it be done before?
Right.
Could it be done before?
How?
By relooking at some of these things, like,
I think he means the mechanism.
The mechanism is
The committee
The
met,
committee, yeah.
and they're
Committee's
bringing
met.
forth their recommendations,
Right.
so.
so there's no intervention by the Board of Selectmen before that point?
That's
before it
correct.
goes to Board of
It's right,
Before
exactly.
it goes to town
You
meeting?
make a recommendation, you can recommend parts or all of the plan, and then Finance Committee make its recommendations, and then town meeting will make the ultimate vote.
You know, this has always been a craw in my, wherever. But, it kind of, and I don't want to pick on the old people, because I got yelled at this week for referring to people as old, so I'm not going to. But there's something about senior fitness room for Council on Aging that, I mean, is it something they're doing now? Are they doing it now?
They are seeking this plan is endorsed unanimously by the Council on Aging.
Yeah.
For the fitness room and for the Wi-Fi cafe. What they've found is that other communities have these, such as Westford, Billerica,
Oh, okay.
Lowell, and so forth, and they tend to be very popular and self-supporting.
I just didn't,
Yeah.
They charge
charge people.
fees.
Do they?
Yeah, and they have quite a few people, quite a few seniors from Chelmsford go to the Westford Senior Center, which is actually a smaller
Because of that.
facility.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking the same thing with the Wi-Fi. How many 65-year-olds are walking around with Blackberries or
A
iPhones?
lot of people at 65, you don't realize they are. Or older.
I know.
You might be
He
still a
resembles that
couple.
remark. You better watch it.
Do you have an iPhone?
Me? I got all kinds of phones.
I mean, the Council on Aging, I think they've been going around for a few years looking at other senior centers and
Yeah.
what they're doing and what
Okay, well, I
works.
didn't realize
And
that
trying
that
I mean, the Wi-Fi cafe, I sat through the presentations, and, it's very interesting, and it's a great way for people, another means for them to get out of the house and come
Right,
and
right,
socialize.
right.
They'll be paying for the coffee and pastries and such, and they'll be working with
Neshoba Tech.
Neshoba Tech to do a lot of this work, and also work with their culinary students to
Right.
hopefully provide some of the
Yeah.
the goodies that you
Yeah,
can purchase.
so Do we have to buy equipment as far as computers for that?
No.
No.
No, and in fact, on the fitness, for example, they're getting donations from the friends of the seniors
Okay.
and others to
Yeah, I
actually
saw
pay for
that,
that
yeah.
fitness
I did see
equipment.
that.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, Bob. I haven't scrubbed through the list to see what my recommendation will be, but what I would like to have seen is approving $3 million and then applying the bond premium of $257 towards it, so that we're only
It's not a lot of
borrowing-
money, but,
So we're only borrowing $2.7,
right.
but I haven't gone through yet to
But
scrub
like,
the list.
the fire command vehicle, 57.5, and then further down, there's another one. Oh, municipal facilities pickup replacement, 42. There's a big difference there. Now, I know there is equipment on the fire side, but, just things like that I'm looking at, This 21st century classrooms, when is this gonna end?
It's never going
It's not going to end. They've got
Never
about
gonna
four, I think,
Get
4
bigger.
additional years beyond this of funding
All they do,
to finish all the high
they
school.
just keep putting more whiteboards up with projectors, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It gets the kids' attention. They're very engaged.
We
You
could
know,
do it.
I've seen it myself.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
Yeah.
Janet, were they giving presentations on the usage and things like that? Like
Yeah,
how many
that's what-
teachers are using
yeah.
them and how
Mhm.
much and
Yeah.
things like that when you were on the school committee?
Yes.
Yeah, Emery Fiore does that. And in order to get one, you have to be trained as an instructor before you get it put in your classroom and so
And
forth.
you have to go through a lot of training, and they've tried to do some fundraising around it and see if people could adopt the classroom, to at least buy the clickers and different things like that to offset the costs. But I mean, the main cost is the projectors and the actual boards. So
And also on school security, I won't say anything about cameras because we definitely need things like that in the schools. But like the keyless entry, how many years does that go on for?
The keyless entry also goes on through 2018, so they have 2 years beyond the upcoming year.
That's a
Just
lot
try-
of,
just
that's a
trying
lot
to
of
s-
keyless entry.
just trying to spread out the cost through the
Yeah,
years.
but that's,
There's a lot
that's
of
a lot of money.
doors.
A lot of schools.
It's a lot of schools,
About
a lot of
8
doors.
schools.
And
Every door will need one, right? Maybe for the most part.
Paul, I did have a question because I think I either got there late or I missed the meeting.
Mhm.
What is the fire station alert system?
That is the remote paging system for all the fire stations in the whole entire community. So, for example, if you're standing by the firefighter and their pager goes off, that's what that is. The
we have
problem
one?
that they have right now is the vintage they have that have been in place for over 20 years. They're no longer being able to get the parts and the service for it. So in essence, they have to replace the whole system in all 5 stations and all the firefighters throughout the community. So that's the toners that go off.
So
that you-
every firefighter wears
Every
one of these?
firefighter wears them, yes.
Okay.
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 Okay, thanks.
The next item I have on the list is the Dutton House demolition and relocation. The deadline for the invitation for bids for the sale and removal of the Dutton House came and passed on Wednesday, December 3rd. There were no proposals received. And since that time, I have been forwarded a proposal from one of the interested parties who did not submit a proposal but remains interested. And then we've heard from a second of the identified interested parties who remain interested. The problem is we're now starting to go in a circular motion. I've notified the trustees that there were no bids received. Obviously, nothing's happening immediately because we're in the dead of winter. But the question becomes, we've gone through a year now of 2 formal proposals, a sort of a period of informal proposals, and now we're back sort of at square one with sort of informal proposals. I think nobody wants to see another year go by, and therefore the options are twofold. One is to, if the value is less than $10,000, you need to decide the disposition procedure as if you were doing a formal bid. In other words, you have to describe, per the statute of 30B, how you're going to dispose of it. The simple thing would be is you could adopt the same evaluation criteria that you have in the RFP, And then just specify that on X date, that the board is going to take whatever it has, and move forward. If not, the other option that I discussed with Becky Herman, the library trustees, would be to, basically start selling portions of the inside of the building and then demoing the rest. In other words, if there's value inside the building, but I think nobody wants that. I think everybody wants to see the house preserved. The challenges that we have out there, I think, are zoning and financial. That's all that it involves. I mean, per your evaluation criteria, the question becomes, where is it going to be moved to, which becomes a zoning issue, and then what does it cost to move it, which becomes a financial issue.
How much didn't some people give us some quotes? How much was it to move it? Was it 50,000?
Oh, no.
No, we never obtained quotes. We never obtained.
Well, I just meant, from
No,
other people. We never heard anything.
Not anything definite. And just I'll chime in here. I did speak to both of the parties who were interested, that we expected at least one of them, I think, to respond to the RFP. For various reasons, they did not. I guess if it were my choice, and I would throw this out, I would go with the first option that Paul mentioned, and just basically put it out to the community and those two interested parties that at our next meeting we will, review their last best proposal that they get to us prior to our meeting. And so by the end of this month, and
They're not going to do anything all winter, so why can't we push it out for 2 meetings?
why should we?
Because the library isn't going to be able to knock it down till.
Well, my question still is, why should we? I mean, as Paul said, we've been going around in circles now for a year.
Yeah.
We have one proposal in writing. The other person has agreed to put his in writing by the end of this month. We would have them for our meeting. I don't see a reason to continue on. And, basically, as Paul said, use the criteria that we had in the RFP to make our decision. That would be my suggestion on how we go
What
forward.
about making it, is there anything that, and I've talked to Paul about this, but making it more affordable for someone to do it? I know there's preservation money that you can probably
Well,
get.
I think that would be up to whoever
But
is.
also, making it easier for the move, maybe, maybe absorbing the cost of police and fire or something like that,
I mean, I
Paul,
guess-
you and I talked.
I
Right, if you're involving CPC or whatever, then you're not going to be able to do anything till a town meeting vote happens in April or May.
Oh, forget the
If it
CPC.
becomes local things like, well, gee, can the town cover the cost for the police detail, for wherever it's moved to, that kind of thing we can do administratively.
Yeah.
But like I said,
I mean,
if it
I'd
involves
like
it-
to see what the two proponents or applicants, or whatever you want to call them, come forward with. And hopefully they would have in there whatever they would expect from the town too, as far as considerations.
Right.
And then we can decide based on that. I mean, I would not want to throw out things and that they might not even think about, oh, let's ask the town to do that for us. And then all of a sudden they're going to say, oh, wow, let's, I'll put that in there too. I don't want to.
I had even asked Paul about the possibility of a TIF. I mean, it's a stretch.
Again, why don't we wait and see what they come back with, and then we can maybe be creative.
Yeah, but
and-
he's setting the criteria.
No, he isn't.
No, we were just saying your evaluation criteria would be what's listed in the
Keep our
the
evaluation.
last RFP.
So, like, things like, I'm just using the police and fire as an example for moving it. That would be negotiable afterwards?
Well, no, you've got to decide, decide when you make the award, what you're awarding, because otherwise someone's going to say, hey, wait a minute, had I known you were going to pay for X, then
Right.
then it's not a level playing field.
Well, I would,
That's the issue.
as I said, I would hope that they would have in their proposal what they expect to pay for and what they would hope that the town would
Oh, okay.
pick up.
If that's
I mean,
an
that's,
option.
that's kind, is that?
Yeah, right, you've got
acceptable.
to have, that's why you've got to state it ahead of time so that people know what the
Right.
rules are. Because
Right.
otherwise, you're going to be back to this thing, well, I didn't realize the town would have done X. Or
Right.
had I known you would do this for so-and-so, I would have done that.
Well, that's
And
why
that's
I'm
when you start
saying-
moving into circles.
That's why I'm saying, when you send out your stuff,
I'm not sending anything out. And basically, I think we're
Have a
going to put a
notice.
notice, we're going to put a notice on the town's website.
And I can reach out
and
again
Pat's
to
gonna reach
both
out
of
to
them
the
and
interested
give them the
parties.
same information. I'll
yeah.
make a script or whatever, so I tell them the exact same information for both of them, that
So
this
have
is
them
what we're
come
looking.
on the 5th Have them
The-
each,
Send, but we want something in writing before that time.
right, but have them each come to the meeting on the 5th, and do a presentation.
Do we need a
Do any kind of
presentation?
Why can't we push it out? It's
I guess
winter.
I would say why?
It's winter.
Why?
To give them time to put
Okay,
their
let's,
ducks in order.
does anybody
ducks.
else have an issue with doing it on the 5th?
Well, you've spoken to both of them, and, well, we already have one. You've spoken to the other person. He
I've
said
spoken
he'll
to
have
both.
something
Yeah.
by
Yes,
the 5th.
yes.
That's pretty cut and dry.
And the 3rd is definitely out.
I don't think we have any way to contact
We
the
haven't
third.
had any further contact from the third
I
party.
mean, you know, this is going to be public. I mean, you know, I'm sure it'll be reported in the press what we're doing. So if they decide they want, if somebody else decides they want to submit a proposal, they're definitely welcome to do that.
You're gonna do one
Oh.
more newspaper advertisement, Paul? Is that the idea then?
I
Or
wasn't
just on the
planning on it.
website?
I was gonna put it on the website.
Okay.
You know, I think we've gone around in enough circles. I mean, it's been, way over a year since
Oh,
we issued the first RFP.
I did have one more question for Paul. And have you spoken to town council recently about the value of it? Now that we do sort of have one proposal over 10,000, is town council still okay with the overall?
But we don't.
Well, we don't have,
no
that's the
longer-
problem. We didn't get a proposal of a $10,000.
And that person has promised me that he will not submit a proposal that lists a $10,000 number so that we don't have to go in this circle again.
He's already
Well,
proposed
official
9,000.
proposal.
I know what he's
Okay, I'm
proposed,
just-
yes.
Right.
Oh, that's good. then.
Let's get it done on January 5th.
Contingencies, nothing, just
Okay.
make it happen.
I just hate knocking down old buildings.
Well, nothing
But
says
knocking
we
it
have to
down.
knock it
What are you talking
down.
about?
Well, that's the alternative.
But we have
Well-
2 folks that are interested. So
Well,
we're going
let's
to
wait.
choose between these
But I'm
2
just
folks.
saying, do we give them enough time to do it?
Oh, I think we do, because one has already submitted it, and I will reach out to him to see if he wants to make any edits. The other one has said, yes, that's time for him to put together a proposal.
Okay, fine.
Thank you.
Okay, the next items are just fall, annual town meeting follow-up items. First one has to do with the demolition of the center fire station. My understanding is that the fire department will be moving out later this week, and they'll probably have their material out of the building within a week after that. I've obtained an estimate on the environmental material survey for the hazardous material survey in the building. We're preparing on by Wednesday to file with the Historic District Commission regarding the demolition of the building, and then we would preparing to advertise an RFP, an invitation for bids for the demolition of the structure, which would probably be due at your second meeting in January. And then the last thing would be, I'm not at this point planning on insuring the vacant building once we leave it. So that's sort of where I'm at this point. If there's a difference of opinion, I believe there is from sitting on a television show less than a week ago. So I just want the board to be aware, and so it's clear to me that I'm proceeding as appropriate. I mean, town meeting appropriated the money, but I guess the question is does the board wish me to act in the executive capacity in the direction that I just described? And I know there's at least 2 votes that don't want to go that way, but I need to know, because otherwise I'm not going to do all the things I just described. So I just want to bring it to your attention.
Technically, it's the role of the Board of Selectmen. Once it becomes vacant, that becomes the Board of Selectmen's decision.
Right, but the
Now,
Board of
even though
Selectmen
they've appropriated it, it doesn't mean we have to spend it.
I agree, Bob, but the Board of Selectmen does not do the day-to-day administration of the town. So that's what I do, and that's why I'm making sure that I'm following your direction.
I understand.
So that's for you folks to decide if that's the way I'm
But
going.
We
Well,
should,
and the
we should take a
committees-
specific vote on it, I think.
Yes, that would be helpful to me.
Well, the committee's charge is for the land, to come up with a use for the land.
Could be a use for the building as well.
Well, as Paul said, we can take a vote on that. I mean, I feel like it is a safety issue. We've made other decisions recently having to do with,
Do you think the
safety.
Oddfellows Hall is a safety unit?
We don't own
Safety-
it.
We don't, but do you think it's a safety?
We don't own it.
Well,
We don't own it, and I'm not
We
going to
do.
answer that question,
Well, you
okay?
should.
Let's,
you should.
where do you want me to go?
And they board up,
Okay.
they didn't board up the
Bob,
windows.
You know
They
what?
didn't board up the windows.
Let's talk about the fire station, okay?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about
Okay.
right now.
But people are using scare tactics, that it's unsafe. That's all I'm saying. And let's not be in a hurry to knock it down.
Scare tactics aside, my my position from town meeting hasn't changed. I've spoken to even more people since the votes come out and been even more public, and actually spoken to many people who think it's a really great idea to give us a fresh start with that piece of property. And when they heard about that, we initiated the funding to tear it down. I think that was sort of a test because after, town meeting makes those decisions, a lot more people hear about it in the newspaper and whatnot.
How many people? How many people have you talked to?
Probably 5 or 6 at least, like outside of the town meeting, group of folks,
right.
and just general folks in town about it. So my position hasn't changed.
George, you have any comments?
No, my position hasn't changed. I whatever it would be, I think you still have to proceed with your asbestos and all those type of, you have to get that out of there anyway, right? And you have to do all that stuff, but no, I would proceed as take the building down.
Okay. Janet?
I don't want to take the building down until I hear a report from the committee that we're forming, because there may be some ideas there. I know we've been approached by at least one person about maybe making an investment in the building. I think we should explore, if that person's serious, a very long-term lease for the property, and but we haven't had that conversation, so.
Well,
I'd like to,
I want to let her finish.
Yeah.
But I don't want a vacant, I want to be clear, I don't want a vacant building sitting there, long-term if there are no other, or there are no viable options for the use of the building. But I see no reason to move forward right away and issue a demolition and bring it down without having the committee study it.
If I could follow up on that, Paul, do you have an idea of a time frame as far as you're doing these studies now, what's the soonest you would sign a contract for someone to demolish the building? Is it probably another month and a half out or something like that, where if people had interest or some type of proposals? Do you have some idea of your time frame on that?
I would anticipate that I would be before you on January 26th with seeking a bid award for the demolition of the building. And that the demolition would probably take place in the February timeframe. February, as was stated, that it won't take long to take that down and haul it away. So what's happening is things are overlapping. You're advertising for the demo while you're doing the assessment. They come in and remove the hazardous materials, and then you do the demo of the building. So, as I said, we'd be filing an application fee and advertising for the hearing before the Historic District Commission for their first meeting in January, or their monthly meeting in January, and then we would just come forward, have the results of that assessment, and proceeding, like I said, in a February timeframe for demo.
And the Historic District is voting on their approval for the demolition of it, or what exactly are they voting on?
Yes, anytime you do work construction work in the center, you need to go before the Historic District Commission. They're not the historical commission because, again, this isn't a 70-plus-year-old building that's historical, but you have to file before them.
Okay.
And so there would be a hearing before the Historic District Commission, but in essence, it's.
And they're looking to vote when? By the end of this month?
Well, the hearing would take place at their meeting in January,
Okay.
which is I believe they meet the first Wednesday of the month, so their meeting would be January 7th.
Historic District?
Historic District.
They meet the first Monday, I believe.
Sorry, first Monday. They meet the same night as we do, the
Same
5th.
night.
Okay.
They meet the 5th.
And they will vote at that meeting as well?
That's up to
Perhaps?
them. That's up to them. I mean, I think, like everyone else in the community, I think they know what's coming in terms of the town meeting action, so I don't know.
What if they were to vote no?
Then I still think it can proceed
Okay.
because, in essence, it's kind of like an approval not required plan. You bring it before them because you're doing demo work, but they don't have the right to stop the demolition. It's not demolition delay like the Historical Commission.
Okay. I would like to hear their input, though.
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting to hear that hearing and ultimately their vote.
Yes, we have until at least January 26th before we'd have to make a final decision on an RFP. You
Right,
can
but if-
submit the
But
RFP
again, I'm
before
going to
then.
submit the application within the butters list and everything, tomorrow or Wednesday, again, to meet the advertising deadlines to be for the 5th of January. So, again, I don't want to be doing that. If the board says, what'd you do that for? You're spending the town's money doing these assessments, advertising, everything else, without the executive board of the town saying that's the direction we want to go.
Well, it sounds like you have the votes.
Well, let's
Oh,
have
I haven't seen a vote.
Can we have a motion, Matt?
Sure, I'll make a motion to direct the town manager to proceed with the process of the demolition of the fire station, the center fire station.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Thank you.
Okay. The next item is the home rule petition for the alcohol license for the CCA and the CCC, or the Center for the Arts, at the Historic Center Town Hall and the Community Center at the North Town Hall. I have sent the certified votes from the town clerk's office to the legislative delegation, and we've heard back from Senator Barrett and the representatives. They will be filing this with the new session. So that will go in the hopper, and probably sometime in spring or so forth, will be called to the State House for a hearing with the Local Affairs Committee, and then hopefully by this July, they would act upon it. But so anyway, I just want you to know that we did follow up in filing that. Regarding the acquisition of 101 Mill Road, we're working with town council on that. The purchase and sale has been drafted, and it's in the hands and review now of the Merrimack Education Center's legal counsel. We also have done the required advertisement in the Central Register for the acquisition of the land. So we anticipate a closing by mid-January and so forth. I don't think I'll have it for your January 5th meeting, but it may be sooner than your 26th meeting, because remember, we got the Martin Luther King holiday is what makes us 3 weeks apart in January as well. But I may, for example, if it's ready by the tri-board meeting, then I may ask you to approve it that night. But basically, I want to let you know we are moving on it as fast as we can. Once we do that, we'll then insure the building, and in the meantime, you're out soliciting for the committee. So, that's going on. And then the last one on the Brownfield site at 27 Katrina Road, a little bit of disappointing news there. We heard back from Mass Development that as a result of the governor's 9C cuts for the state budget deficit, he's reduced the amount of funding for the Brownfields remediation projects. So our application is not going forward at this time as projected. So, and then now what happens in January, a new administration comes in with a new chair of the committee, and so at this point we're sort of on hold. The authorization is still there. And then what I read today is that the legislature is going to defer any action on the state budget, further action on the state budget, until the new governor is seated. So bottom line is, it doesn't look like there's anything's going to happen in terms of the state commitment on funding that remediation, which therefore means we will not take any action in terms of issuing the RFP as we had hoped in January, because of the fact of the lack of commitment by the state. So that's what's going on there. And then lastly, even though it's not listed, the RFP will be going out in the next week for the energy aggregation, the electricity aggregation for the whole community. I know that particularly with the increase in electricity prices, people have been asking. The Energy Committee met last Wednesday, and so that RFP has been drafted and will be going out. So hopefully in either January or February, we'll be coming forward to initiate that process. And believe it or not, I heard again today, if we're on these town meeting topics, I have a revised language that came in about an hour before the meeting tonight on the Sheehan Farm APR language came back from the state, which I'll review, and hopefully we can get that wrapped up. But
Is it the same as
because,
what
well,
we approved?
remember, we submitted, no, it's modified from what we submitted because the state modified it. So now, the land trust is reviewing it, and then I'll get it to you, and hopefully we can wrap this thing up, because, my gosh, I think it's just incredible the amount of time to move through the bureaucracy for what should really be a pretty straightforward process. So anyway, I do want to let you know that those other items are moving. So that's all I have, Madam Chair.
Okay, thanks. All right, on to Selectmen Liaison Reports. Bob, I'll start with you.
I go first tonight? We received a copy of a letter that you got, Paul, from the owners of the Odd Fellows building.
Yes.
Are they confused?
No,
I thought the last letter said they hadn't applied for a permit or.
right, they never went before
Right.
the Historic District Commission prior to the work that they performed. So now I have the property owner saying, well, did they do the work that was approved by the Historic District Commission? And so I think Jim Lane is going to go over and examine what's been done, and then we'll basically notify the owner, well, this is the work they did, but they never came before the Historic District Commission to have that work performed.
They should still do that paperwork so that
Yes.
we have it.
Right. So that I imagine that will get done probably certainly by your next meeting, within the next couple of weeks with the holidays.
The lights down in the center look great, Christmas decorations. Santander.
Yeah.
The two that are on their property,
Mhm.
the planning board required that they put them in.
Mhm.
Can we get them lit? Can we write an agreement with them that we'll service it and they pay for the electricity?
I'll go explore it. You know, I can talk to the fellow that we met with. Yeah, yes, we'll follow that up on that, yeah.
Yeah, because they're hanging the thing on them.
Right.
And it looks terrible because
Okay.
they're dark.
Okay.
Okay. Many of you have probably noticed that there's a new sign in front of the town hall, the old town hall. I think it's very big. And I had asked Paul about, did they go through the normal, procedure of, and I guess, I don't
To my
know if
understanding, they did. They
went
pulled
to the building inspector.
They went to the
and he
building
let them put it
inspector.
in.
Yeah.
I think they went in front of the district committee as well. I asked that.
The Historic District Commission, they went before them as
to the
well.
Historic District Commission.
Right.
Well, they did go
Because I
before
asked
sewer-
The
this
District
out there
Commission, yes.
to one of the
They didn't go to the sign bylaw permit.
No, because the sign advisory committee advises the Board of Appeals.
Right.
Right.
And they didn't have to go.
Didn't have to go to the Board of Appeals.
So it's awfully big. I think that the sign that is above the door should now come down, the one that's right up above the door. And in between the two windows of the second floor and the third floor, the town hall sign should go back the way it was. I know Susan's probably gonna have a hissy fit over it, but we did it in North, why can't we do it here?
Maybe you should go to their meeting and talk to them about that. When do they meet once a month or so?
We own the
Town Hall
Tuesday.
Advisory Committee?
We own the building.
The Town Hall Advisory Committee?
Right. The problem is I've seen different historic pictures. The centennial pictures of the building show no sign on it. And then at a later date, to see the sign that you described. So
Which centennial?
which is the story, the one that shows all the bunting on the buildings that you see.
1955?
Yes, the one that goes back, over 100 years. It shows it with no sign on the building. So it's a question of what historic period are you trying to emulate?
Well,
That's what we see.
it should have the sign on it. The North has it on. And, people can say that it's confusing, but you know what? We had it there before and it wasn't confusing. So,
I think it was.
Hmm?
But- I think it was, but
well, I found my
Okay.
way to the right town hall.
okay, I'm glad you did.
I'd like to see something done on it.
I need, if I'm going to do something, I need the vote of the board. I don't,
just-
it puts
I'm
me in an
not
awkward
ready.
position to do
I
individual
mean,
requests.
I think if we're going to do something like that, we need to put it on the agenda and have
Okay.
some kind of proposal put forward because.
Would you put it on the agenda for next time, please?
Okay.
And maybe have the committee come in and give their
And I'll get
thoughts.
some pictures.
Committee come in.
Right.
Pictures of the building when it had the town hall sign on it. It was renovated as a town hall.
Okay.
We let the Center for the Arts use it, but it's still a town hall. And I would like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. That's it.
Okay. Matt?
Yeah, I'd also like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and
Happy
any
holiday.
other holidays. December 25th and January 1st are both Thursdays, so I won't be having any office hours on those days. Find it unlikely
Heaven
anyone would
knows.
come. George would come, but no one else would. So this Thursday will be my last office hours at Panera from 5 to 6. So if you would like to discuss anything, you can stop by then. But other than that, Merry Christmas.
That's it? Okay. George, what do you have?
Yeah, that's my sentiments, really. Just Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and be safe. And, 3 weeks between meetings, Pat, we'll have withdrawals by the time we get the.
You may have to
Just-
call
Yeah,
George.
yeah.
I'll tell you,
Please,
George.
give me a hotline to
Just-
call in case I get the shakes
Over,
or
give him a
something.
hug.
Yeah.
Just can't do it right for you, huh? Either we have too many meetings or not enough.
Whatever.
All right. Janet, what do you have?
I just want to say thank you to the Parley family for their breakfast on Sunday. It was great seeing a bunch of folks. I know I missed most of you guys. I didn't get up early on Sunday. I did see George there, though.
I didn't get up at all.
Yeah, I didn't get there early. As I was told by Mr. Sullivan, I got there as the sun is over the yard arm.
Wow.
I never heard that before, and so I learned what that expression is. I try to use it now. But anyways, I want to say thank you to them. That was great, and a great chance to meet some new people and have some new conversations. Also want to wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy New Year.
That's it? Okay. I want to thank everybody for coming to the ribbon cutting for the fire headquarters on Saturday. It was a great turnout. We had a lot of people from the community. Great event. I think everybody was pleased with what we have there, and I'm sure that anybody who missed a tour that day can get one. Just get in touch with the fire chief or his office, and I'm sure they'd give you a tour. Paul alluded to a tri-board meeting. I was thinking we could have one on January 12th, so we can have 2 meetings in a row. George, how about that?
Jesus.
To begin our budget discussions. That's a little bit later than we usually do, but on the other hand, it's probably, I don't know what Paul's, we won't have local aid numbers.
Right. The couple things. One is you should receive the forensic auditor's report by the end of this month, and I imagine that would be discussed on the 12th.
Mhm.
And then I think we probably would have a revenue discussion on the 12th as well. The difficulty in terms of the expenditure side is I will not receive till 2 weeks after that, at a minimum, the number requested by the Chelmsford Public Schools and requested by Neshoba Tech.
But we'll have a draft.
Right, but I won't receive that, and they're not releasing that draft until the 27th?
Well, they're going to have an
Preliminary-
early
preliminary
draft.
budget, right, yeah.
Early January.
Right.
And then a public meeting on that.
Right.
And then I guess a firmer draft, and perhaps another public meeting, and then
And then they're
goes
going
to
to
you.
release it on the 27th. Tuesday, the 27th, the school committee is going to vote to release the number. And then, again, same thing, that I think the Neshoba Tech number will be released later that week, probably that Friday, because they have to meet the Westford Town meetings
Right.
deadline. So normally that breakfast is the first Friday in February, but I think this year it's probably going to be the last Friday in January, which is the 30th because of that. So those two are critical numbers in terms of the process, because to date, I still don't know the enrollment swings. I'm led to understand that the Neshoba Tech enrollment has gone up from Chelmsford, and that our enrollment in the Chelmsford Public Schools has gone down, but not, again, at this point, we don't know how that affects the Chapter 70 funds that flow with that, which is very critical in terms of the budget process. We will learn later this week, I believe on Wednesday, the proposed assessments, actually be the voted assessments from Middlesex Retirement, which are not looking very good from the preliminary data that I've seen. And again, as soon as I get that, I'll get that out to you and to the Finance Committee and such. So anyway, I would going back to your point, yes, there will, I imagine on the 12th, there would be discussions about the audit report and the budget.
Okay. All right, so everybody could put that on your calendars for January 12th?
The 12th?
12th.
Isn't that a holiday?
It's a holiday,
No,
yeah.
the 19th is the holiday.
Good try, George.
It's a holiday for us, George.
George holiday.
Okay, unless there's any other business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, and our next regular...
Press?
Oh, press questions, that's right. Forget about that.
Hi, Joy Weeder. I'm with
Could you come up to the microphone, please?
We're very formal.
Hurry.
I'll have to sign.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. My name is Joy Weeder. I'm with Gatehouse Media. And first of all, I just want to let you know that I was taking an audio recording. When you asked about that, I didn't really have a chance to respond before
Okay.
you kind of went on. And I don't know that we need to answer all these questions now, but I wanted to probably follow up with Paul, I think, to get some background on the fire department building and the questions about it, the demolition, and since I don't know the history of that whole setup. And I was just also wondering who to follow up to get some more specific names about the hearing on the petition for the pole of Littleton Road. I also am not that familiar with all the players, so I tried to follow up with some of the people after and did not get a great response. So.
If you call the office in the morning, we'll identify who the attorney was and so forth. We can get you all that.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Anything
That
else?
it?
That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Is Monique, or whatever her name was, I thought she was.
Molly.
Monica.
Molly's moved on to Acton.
Yeah, but I thought, who's
And
the other
then
girl that used?
Monica.
Monica.
She was here the last meeting. She's a freelance
she's
reporter
freelance,
for
right.
them. And then
Okay.
the new editor is Margaret Smith.
Right.
And yeah,
Okay.
so we now,
Okay.
right, we no longer have a
Okay.
full-time reporter assigned to Chelmsford.
Okay,
Okay, sorry.
okay. Next regular meeting is January 5th, 2015. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.